Oh, that's bad. That's very bad. Pausing. Hello, check, can you hear me now? Sorry, for some reason my microphone... Again, the tech issues were ridiculous. Sorry, little boys, I was saying hi and you couldn't hear me. Oops. I was not kidding when I'm saying this has been the most technologically challenging stream to set up since Risk in Real Life. I was like, I'm gonna go to bed kind of early so I get a good rest. Also, I was stupid tired because I only had 2 hours of sleep. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed early, and I put my PC on sleep mode because I wanted to immediately start working once I woke up, right? This is my second time watching the stream. Yo, welcome in. And this is a good one. I woke up, and my PC had apparently at some time during the night when I slept, crashed and done that wonderful thing where it gets stuck in a reboot loop. It's like a weird error with this PC. I haven't been able to fix it yet because I kind of need a tech expert for it. But yeah, sometimes, mostly after updates, the PC loves to just get caught in a restart loop and not be able to get out for ages. So I was like, okay. So I spent about an hour and a half trying to get the PC out of the restart loop. So that was fun. Loved that. And then I was like, okay, I have maybe just enough time to get the PowerPoint presentation all ready to stream. And then PowerPoint decided not to work for like 20 minutes, and I just tried desperately to open the file that I was working on for the presentation. And I was trying so hard, and I was just, okay, no, because of that whole delay, I was not able to finish the PowerPoint for the 7 p.m. start I originally wanted. So it's an 8 a.m. start. It's fine. Copium, it's fine. I didn't just go through immense technological trouble for like 3-4 hours straight. Oh my god, it was horrific. But yeah, chatters, if you don't know what the stream is, this is a PowerPoint stream. We've done one of these before. The whole idea is I basically give a presentation to you boys and you get to judge the contents within. As you can see, it says, hold on, let me zoom in. There you go. It says, TV shows I've watched fully, rate 1 through 10 on unhingedness. So, to qualify in this presentation, basically, I have to have watched every episode of this TV show. So there are some shows where I'm missing like a season or something, so they are not in this presentation. And I've kind of sorted them through categories, which reflect my opinions on these shows. But I want to hear you lads' opinions. How unhinged it is that I've seen all of that TV show. Now let me start. So, table of contents, chat. We've got category 1, good shows that get worse over time. So, kind of self-explanatory, right? I'm not going to go into too much depth in these categories because each has a different explanation slide later down the line, of course. 2, we've got good shit, just good shit. 3, good shows that get better over time, so kind of the reverse of the first category. And 4 is up and down, so kind of not really like a curve up or down in terms of quality or enjoyment for me. Right. I said this took ages. This is the reason I don't do PowerPoint streams that frequently, because even without technical problems, this stuff takes... Oh, this is too loud. I don't want this song. Fuck off. There you go. Is the music level alright, by the way, chat? I hope it is. But yeah, the reason I don't do these that much is even without technological problems, these take a long time to set up, like somewhere between 4 to 6 hours. So strap yourselves in. And please, if you have friends who like funky little content and you want to recommend a stream to them, recommend me, please. Thank you. And yeah, as mentioned, the whole point of this is you vote on the shows. Some of these I watched a long time ago, but I will basically give a little summary of what the show is about and kind of talk a little bit about them, because that's the whole point. And yeah, can't really hear the music. Oh my god, is it OBS being dumb with the music? Yeah, sorry chat. I should have checked the audio levels. There you go. Can you all hear the music? Apologies, chat. I don't know why. Again, like, I did nothing except have the PC restart about 800 times. So apparently that must have fucked up the audio shit. There you go. So then we have the next 5 categories. Why did I watch all of that? Just joined the Discord. Based. I'm also having a little poll in the Discord because I'm thinking of getting a skin for the hardcore series. And I've put some designs in the Discord voting section. So please vote what kind of design is good. Because I would obviously then commission someone to do the skin, the Minecraft skin for me. And I always love having a little sketch and a design idea. Hi, Foolish Fan! Perfect timing! So 5 is why did I watch all of that? 6 is watched for Blorbo and suffered the consequences. 7, good but not great. 8, great concept, bad execution. At 9, lives in my head rent-free. So, again, all of these get kind of explained when they, happen in the presentation. So don't worry about not understanding what constitutes the category. Many things. Again, you guys' point here is you get to talk, of course, if you've watched the show too, what you thought about it, and most importantly, rate how unhinged is it from 1 through 10 that I've watched the entirety of this TV show. For each individual one, by the way. So, 1 is basically, this is super normal, very mainstream. A lot of people will have watched all of this show, you are very normal if you've watched all of this. 10 is you are insane, are you okay, do you need mental health assistance? For the scaling, right? So I'm not expecting a lot of 10s, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think my media taste is that weird. I'll be honest. Alright. Going on. Disclaimer. Big disclaimer here. This is all for sillies and funnies. This is not a super serious stream. I'm not upset if you don't like the shows I've watched or if you have different opinions. It's just all of us having fun and being courteous to each other's media enjoyment. So I don't want anyone to be like, oh my god, you are shit if you like this show, or oh my god, how can you not like the show? You're so terrible for this. No, everyone just likes different stuff. And I don't even like all of the shows that I've watched the entirety of. Some of these I don't like. And I will voice my opinions, and everyone's opinions are valid, so just be chill with it. And as a little silly moment, if you guys don't have anything to say, have I watched BBC Merlin show? I've not. I've actually not watched it at all. Because another thing is, I've not included TV shows I've not finished yet, or I, in fact, stopped watching at some point, purposefully. So this is just shows I've watched the entirety of. Including TV shows where there's upcoming seasons that haven't been released yet, by the way. This counts. So, and also, to make it all good and enjoyable, fucking hell, for everyone, even if they don't know the TV shows, I've included cat pictures on almost all of the presentation slides. So cat enjoyers, you stay winning. There's a lot of cat content and other little bits for you guys' enjoyment. So are you ready? Are you ready? Everyone excited? Happy? Yeah. So it's for fun, it's for sillies, and everyone's opinions on TV are respected in this Twitch chat. There we go. Alright. Category 1. Good shows that get worse over time. And this is the description I went with. That feel when a show started strong and then flops, but you are too invested, so you watch all of it anyway. Flops is kind of a strong word, doesn't mean they end. Cartoons count, yes. Every type of TV show. Including web shows, by the way. So by flops, I don't necessarily mean they all end up terrible, I just said it for the funnies. For you, that was The Office. I've never even watched The Office. But yeah, so by that I just kind of mean I liked the show a lot more in the beginning than at the end. For some shows, it means I didn't like it at all. Other times, I just thought it got a bit bad at the end. Star vs. the Forces of Evil. I stopped watching that show in the middle. I have never finished it. Whoops. fell off with that one. All right, are you ready for slide 1? It's time. Again, I'm gonna give a brief summary and talk about every show. All right, going on. Page 1. Where did the doodles go? Sorry. Never mind. I thought I'd fixed my presentation problem, but all the doodles are not there. I put like so much effort into that. Hold on. Pausing. Pausing. Because I'd used like a different program to open this presentation, but... Pausing. For a brief intermission. Brief intermission. Put a lot of effort to do like little drawings in Microsoft Paint that have like little opinions, and they're just not here. So hold on. I thought I'd fixed my problem of not being able to present by using a different program, but if like half the content is not there, that's so upsetting. Hold on. Pausing. Pausing. I didn't see that that was not included. Yeah, because like my Microsoft has just been absolutely fucking me over non-stop. Alright, fair enough. But I'm not ready to present then. I'm sorry, chat. I genuinely didn't see... I was like, oh, it works. I didn't see that the doodles weren't included, and they're like half the presentation content. I spent so long on all of them. Like, I'm not going to present this. I'm going to see if I can fix it somehow. I have an idea. This is a bit bold, but maybe it works. Give me a moment. I'm going to see if I cannot open this with a different app. Bloody fucking hell. Why is it LibreOffice Impress? You're such dog shit. Fucking no. Choose an app. Ah, I hate it. PowerPoint used to be so easy. It used to be so easy, but now it's just annoying. Ah, I do apologize, chat. Hold on. I'm gonna try to see if I can not fix it somehow. I have no idea why it's not included this. I thought this was like a extended over the platform thing. Hold on. I'm doing my best, chat. Because I put like all my opinions on the TV, like on the slides with little drawings and doodles and stuff. And I'm so upset if I have to like just present the pictures and then just like tell you everything again. Because the thing is as well, I don't get why PowerPoint on the PC is causing so many problems. Because I was checking if it worked on my phone, and it works like no problem. I just don't get why it's so stupid like that. Pausing. Can I like project this? Would be a weird choice, but maybe I can. Pausing. I'm gonna see if I can just shove it from my phone. Why do I want the laser? I don't want a laser pointer. Why are you giving me a laser pointer? Sorry, chat. I really should have checked this, but I was already like annoyed about being late to you lads by like an hour, and so stressed out about all the technical problems I've been having that I didn't think about it. Can I export it as a PDF and send it to myself as a PDF from my phone? Questions. Decisions. Yeah. Can I do this? And export it here. But then it's fucking... Pausing. School tomorrow, good night, every night. Do apologize that it's been so... OneDrive. Let me check my OneDrive. It should work. But it is so annoying that it cut... Yeah, no, I have no storage. Kill me if you want. Thank you for the hydrate. Appreciate it. I know. God damn it. Ugh. Sorry, chat. We'll resume very shortly. My only problem is I have no idea if I'm able to at all do this. Pissed off. I'm very annoyed about this right now. So I don't know why it doesn't include the little doodles. This is like that time I spent like a billion hours color coding Also, it's like dying right away, because why not? It's like that time when I spent about 8 hours fixing the fucking color coding on my subathon video, and then it just didn't export the colors when I used it into my thing. Can I share this? Can I not? Okay, I have a weird idea, but this could work. Can I screen share from my phone to my PC? I know I have no storage. End me, I guess. Where's the screen sharing thing? Oh my god. Sorry, chat. I really should have checked this. As you can see, I'm just troubled by a lot of tech issues for no reason. Like, why is it not opening the PowerPoint link as normal? Like, it's just decided to break, like, just today, because why not? Oh my god. Okay, he's opening it. He's opening it. Pausing. Last time I had it open, but the only thing that it didn't want to do was actually present for no reason. I'm like, alright. Okay, it's loading. It's loading very badly though, which I hate, but okay. You do you, king. Okay, I'm just closing everything else. I don't get why it's loading so long. Oh my god. Okay, it's loaded. Okay. Rare W, maybe? The thing is, I was not able to actually present last time. Like, what are you doing? It's not letting me present it. For no reason. I'm like, thanks. Appreciate it. Okay, I have an idea. This is a bit bold, but bear with me, chat. Bear with for just a moment. This is gonna be challenging, but not impossible. I will have to do some zooming in. Actually, it shouldn't be this. It should be the browser. Okay, you will have to just bear with because it doesn't let me open the presentation mode for no reason. I'm like, thanks. Thanks for never working. So I'm just gonna have to zoom you in. Like, severely, but it should work. Let me see. Roughly. I mean, yeah, it works. There you go. Fixed it. Like, very abrupt. This one I meant, these are the little doodles, chat. Fucking hell. I was finally able to do it. It only took 6 years, but alright. Fair enough. There you go, chat. We're in, lads. Can I get some yippies? I impromptu fix this shit. But yeah, slide 1. This is the good shows that get worse over time category, by the way, if you were wondering. So we have Your Lie in April. This is a show about a prodigy pianist who gets like crazy burnt down and has like a lot of mental struggles attached to performance pressure, basically. It had 1 season, and I rated this a 7 out of 10. It has wonderful piano music, but it has the most annoying side characters that take a lot of stage later, like in the later half of the season. And by God, are they fucking annoying. So this is why it's in this category. Then Designated Survivor. Season 1 of Designated Survivor is one of the best TV show seasons ever made, in my opinion. I loved season 1, as I say. Season 1 was a 10 on 10 for me. But season 2 and 3 just get kind of crap. Like, it's a crazy, silly political drama show where it's basically exploring the what-if scenario of what if everyone but the designated survivor, who is a person in the US government, that gets chosen to be kind of separated from everyone else just in case. What if they survive a massive terrorist attack as the only survivor and they then become president? That's basically the premise of this TV show. And the premise is so good in season 1. And then in season 2 and 3, it's like, okay, the guy who's now president is kind of established, and then he's running for election, and then season 3 is like really weird with like just what the fuck went up in that 3rd season, not gonna lie. So That's kind of like, it's still an 8 on 10 because season 1 is just that good. Like, in my opinion, you could just watch season 1 and not watch the rest of the show and you're good. Like, so, again, you guys' job is to rate 1 through 10 how unhinged it is that I've seen the entirety of these shows. So, for each individual one. So, please don't kill my stream right about now. I'm gonna cry. I am actually gonna cry if it doesn't. Can I see my bitrate, maybe? Can I see maybe my bitrate? Thanks. 1 out of 10 for Your Lie in April? I didn't think it was that shit. As I mentioned, I thought it was pretty alright as a show. I'm not a huge anime watcher, by the way, though. As like a little disclaimer, I've basically only watched like... Oh, I forgot a show as well. Oh, shit. I just realized I forgot a TV show, but it's fine. I'll just say which one it was. I forgot Yuri on Ice, which I think... No, wait, I didn't think I've watched all of that. Oh, I have. No, I have. Never mind. But anyways, no, it's not about haven't seen. It's about, like, just from what I've told you. Like, if you don't know it, just look at the City Cat. But in general, it's kind of like you guys rate me on unhingedness. Designated Survivor 7.5 out of 10. That's fair enough. That's valid, I think. Valid rating. So, like, kind of the disclaimer is it's not a disclaimer, but in terms of anime, I've barely watched any anime. I think I've watched 3 TV shows total, or maybe 4. And I've started some, but I never finished them. I'm not really an anime watcher, honestly. And some of them I didn't necessarily choose to watch on my own volition. But that's, like, for a later category. 2 out of 10 and 3 out of 10. Fair enough, yeah. I don't think this is quite normal behavior, I think, still. It's like a pretty generic, relatively popular anime and like a political drama show. Like, I don't think this is crazy. I don't think this is that crazy. Hear me out. Alright, now that we've got it working, we can go on. Okay, slide 2. Boom. On slide 2, we have Torchwood, the like adult-oriented spin-off of Doctor Who, with 4 seasons. I rated this a 7 out of 10, and my comment was, bury your gays ain't cute. Because if you don't know, like, the whole premise is it's about an organization that's hunts aliens, and they're based in Wales. And like, it has a bit of a rough start, then it's kind of good. Although I don't really like all of the characters. And then they're like, yeah, let's just kill off, like, the one gay character who isn't the main character. And I'm like, just didn't need to, okay? Like it's not on. Also, again, the sexual assault overtones in season 1 were kind of rough, I'm not gonna lie. Torchwood 7 out 9, Veep 7 out 10. Oh, alright. And then Veep is another. You can really tell I like political shows. Veep is a political comedy show about, well, the Veep of the US, but she's actually really incompetent / corrupt, and it's all about like shenanigans in the US government. And it has 7 seasons, which is way too many fucking seasons. And it does get really bad after season 5, mostly because the original showrunner leaves, and there's just some crazy plot lines that didn't need to happen later in the show. So my rating was a 6 on 10. It started really, really funny, but with some comedy shows, it just feels like after a few seasons, they're just redoing the same bits and bits over and over and over again, and it's just not funny anymore. So yeah, it doesn't need to have had 7 seasons. I don't think it even needed 5, or maybe like 3 or 4 would have been enough, because those were like the peak of the show, in my opinion. So yeah, you can have a little cat with a pride flag. Pride flag cat. So what are your thoughts? So this category is very much a category of shows where I'm like, these were good, but I have a lot of big gripes with them, which is why they're not in some of the other categories. My gripes are big enough that I always think about them when I talk about the show or when I think about the show. And also, again, of course, a lot of these shows in this presentation I watched years and years ago. 1 through 10 and 2 out of 10. Fair enough. Very normcore. Very normcore. I appreciate it. Very normal. Very normal. Yeah, I mean, these were pretty, like, popular big shows. at the time, so I don't think this is crazy. You really don't like... No, the rating isn't on the show, how much you like the shows, it's how unhinged they are. Like, the rating isn't how much do you like the show. Like, I'm appreciating hearing you guys' input if you like the show, if you watched it. But the ratings are... Is it, like, from this is super normal to this is, like, you are insane for this. This is the rating scale. Because I think rating it on how much you like it is very subjective and to the individual chatter and their taste. That's how much I like them. Okay, fair enough. Like, you guys, I do want to hear if you've watched the show, if you liked it or not, because that's interesting. But for the purposes of kind of getting a bit more of data that I can find funny, I think you guys judging me on how much is it weird I've watched all the show or not is a bit more funny than just be like, hey, do you like the show or not? But alas, Yellow City, so true. Alright, next slide, boys. Now, Wizards of Waverly Place, the Disney Channel show, with its 4 seasons, was a 6 on 10 in my opinion. And then BBC Sherlock, with its 4 season, which really should have been 3 maximum. 7 on 10 still. So, Wizards of Waverly Place, I watched this, don't know why I watched all of it, I didn't realize I actually watched all of it, but I did. Because this was like on TV when I was a kid, I was like, it's a cool show, I like magic, you know? And then they have this whole plot about them only allowing one of the kids to be a magician at the end of the show. And then they just kind of go wild with like some of the later decisions, and the finale of it is actually crazy. Because they kind of basically backtrack on the whole premise of the show, and I'm like, what the hell? So I'm not over this finale for the show. And obviously this is kind of Disney Channel type content, so yeah. Like, they just kind of make two of the 3 kids wizards at the end, and I'm like, bro, this is a perfect format. Thank you, Disabled Republic. 5 on 10, Outrageousness 2. Outrageous is 1 on 10. Yeah, I think most people have watched at least a bit of Sherlock at this point. Yeah, because to me, right, season 1 of Sherlock, like BBC Sherlock, is a banger season. Season 2 is kind of mixed in my opinion, because I really hated episode 2. Season 3, pretty good. Like, it's a good, fun show with cool visual effects, and I like a good mystery show, right? But then season 4, they shit all over everything that was good about the show in the first place. I always hate when they introduce, like, a secret siblings character. I think it's always cheesily done, or almost always, and it just fucked the whole show, basically. Like, season 4 I only ever watched once, and I will never watch it again. And I have, like, the other seasons on DVD. I will never buy season 4, it's horrendous. The fuck? It gets all over the place. Yeah, it really just doesn't have a cohesion of anything at that ending point. What the hell? Also, I'll be real, another thing that really soured Sherlock for me is the way the creators of the show treated like people who were enjoyers of the show, and how much they shout over especially LGBT fans who enjoyed the show and liked Sherlock and Watson as like a dynamic. They really just like basically were like, how dare you? And I'm like, bro, that's just how fans work. Like, if you make shit that looks gay, people will call it gay. I'm just gonna say it. I hate everyone who made that show. I mean, yeah, I read the behind the scenes like book that they brought out called Sherlock Chronicles, and it just was so condescending to the fans, and it was so self-indulgent and how brilliant it was. It was not that brilliant, guys. We can admit it. It's been like more than a decade. We can admit it. BBC Sherlock was not that groundbreaking. It's a half joking, a stroke, or a tone indicator. Typically, tone indicator means half joking. So James is not seriously like, I hate everyone who's watching the show, but it's a little bit. It's a bit jokey. All right. I feel like we can admit at this point, you know, BBC Sherlock, it was not that groundbreaking. And in general, I tend to get very like, as someone who enjoys fan culture quite a bit. I don't want this song. I don't want this either way. Fluffing a duck, perfect. as someone who enjoys fan culture and fan content, it just rubs me the wrong way to see people just shit on fans. I'll be honest. So that's immediately like a big negative for me. But still, I thought 2 of the 4 seasons that Sherlock brought out were really good. 1 was mid and 1 was absolutely horrid. So to me, that's kind of like a 7 on 10 rating. Right. The final slide of the good but gets worse category, chat. We're almost through the first section. And for most of these, I either put 2 or 3 shows on the same slide, depending on how it works out. So this one has 3. First up, we have a show called Masters of Sex on Showtime. This show had 4 seasons. 7 on 10 in my opinion. The first 3 seasons are really good. It's a show about the 2 like scientists who kind of did studies on sexuality in the 60s and were part of that whole sexual revolution in the US. Very cool. It's kind of semi-historical. And the first 2 seasons are really, really good. There's like crazy character dynamics. There's a lot of like interestingly done representation of LGBT characters in the show. It's very cool. And it shows like really dysfunctional characters. So we have like this doctor who has like a crazy marriage and his assistant and their like fucked up relationship. It's a really good show. But season 4, they decide to just go like and make all the characters hippies, because then it turns over to the 70s and it just goes completely out the window in terms of historical accuracy. And it's an absolutely dog shit 4th season, which is its final season because I think it got cancelled after this. Absolute dog shit. Good show, but high warning, guys. Most of these shows I'd say are pretty appropriate to watch if you're old enough to be on Twitch. This show is very much an adult show. Masters of Sex, I mean, it has sex in the title, chat. Do not watch this show if you're young and or you're uncomfortable with quite explicit sexual content, chatters. Like, genuine thing. Yeah, I think this having watched all of this is kind of like middle unhinged, because there's quite a lot of relatively explicit sex scenes in this show. Just saying. Next we have BuzzFeed Unsolved True Crime. 8 seasons. Give this a solid 8 on 10. I really like the way they present cases. Good dynamics, fun, very consumable content. I just think the most interesting cases were covered in the early seasons, and by the time like the show was ending, like the last few seasons, I just thought the cases were more boring and some of them were just like ones that were really overdone in the genre, so I wasn't super interested in some of the episodes. Yeah, I really don't like true crime. I think they're a bit boring. Fair enough. That's what I was saying about like some of the later episodes. I thought they were a bit more like. Then we have Sex Education on Netflix. Currently has 3 seasons. I give this a 6 on 10 because, again, another case of season 1 was really cool. I really like shows where you have kid characters like starting their own business, or like this kind of like advice column concept. I've watched quite a few shows or movies with this concept and I really like it. So season 1, absolute banger, really good. And then season 2 and 3 and you're like, why are you introducing so many side characters that you don't care about? Is there so much cheating again in like teen drama shows? Why is there just cheating all the way, just everywhere? Why? But this show has excellent representation. There's a lot of representation for neurodivergency, for disability, for sexuality. It does it really well, and also it has quite a diverse cast in terms of racial makeup. Well done. Like, it is a good show. Again, pretty explicit on sexual content. I would not recommend this if you're really young or don't like it. But my 6 on 10 rating is very much like unhappiness with how the show kind of, in my opinion, fumbled its really cool premise at the beginning of, like, if you don't know, the premise is like this kid, Otis, has a sex therapist mom and he decides to do like sex advice in his school, with the girl in the middle called Mavis as like a little business that's kind of illegal. And it's a lot about, I thought, a pretty cool and interesting approach to like sexuality in like the setting. But again, it fumbles the premise so hard in the later seasons that it's just upsetting. And again, I don't like shows where so much of the drama is genuinely just like cheating and or miscommunication. All of them 2 out of 10. Yeah, I think definitely BuzzFeed and Sex Education are very mainstream things to watch. Like BuzzFeed Unsolved, very mainstream. I think Masters of Sex is maybe a bit more out there because again, it is quite like mature show, bestly said. But yeah, pretty silly, I think. Alright, this was my category for like shows that start really good and get worse over time. Alright, you ready for the next category, chat? Yump? Any yumpers in the chat? Shows that fell off. Yeah, basically, shows that kind of fell off. Not like they all end horribly. Some of them like are still pretty decent, but they definitely just don't get as... like, they don't perform as well, in my personal opinion, at the end. Yump. Big yumps. Alright. Next category is good shit! Shows that are just fun. So I don't say all of these shows are amazing, but I really had a good time with all of them. And there's nothing that really horrifically bothered me with any of these shows. So these are good. Not like my favorite shows ever or anything. That's like basically the final category, but fun, good times. Slide 1. We bring in Avatar: The Last Airbender and Steven Universe, the original show. Avatar: The Last Airbender just slayed, okay? 3 seasons, banger seasons, 9 on 10 rating. I remember as a kid they used to do like marathons on Nickelodeon of watching showing the entire show, and that's how I watched it. It's one of the few shows I've actually watched on TV fully, not on like YouTube or streaming services or wherever, you know? Avatar: The Last Airbender, slay. I've still not watched Legend of Korra, by the way, but I watched the show and I loved it. Haven't rewatched it though in like probably a decade or longer, so maybe I should. But Avatar, slayed. Steven Universe, I really liked. To me, it's a 9 out of 10. The music is chef's kiss. There's like storytelling conventions that get kind of subverted in the way that normally doesn't happen in TV for kids or for like teens. Haven't seen but good shit. Yippee, yeah, it's good shit. And I personally just have such affection for just so many iconic things that came out of Steven Universe during the original run. Like Stronger Than You, people making like other fandom animations for like different things like Undertale, for example, and using that song. Like generally the songs are amazing. There's like crazy representation considering the time it was made for gay characters, non-binary characters, like slay. And so much emotional depth gets shoved into this show. Like, it's crazy. Is it flawless? No. There's a lot of issues with it, and like artistically it has like inconsistencies that's kind of well known. There's like some bits that I could have been dealt with a bit deeper. Other stuff that was just censored out and wasn't able to be presented in the way that it maybe could have. But I still love this show, like a lot. And I got into it when they just introduced like the Garnet plot twist in the TV show. So I watched it while it was going on, and I loved the show. Good shit. Good shit. What do we think? So 1 on 10 for both and unhingedness. Yeah, I think this is really normal. Very popular mainstream cartoon series. Pretty normal. And also I hope you enjoy all the cat pictures I've been including. This is just for, you know, visual stimulation, boys. You get some cats. Cat kiss. Yippee! Alright. Next slide. Oh yeah, summary. I haven't been doing plot summaries. I do apologize for these. So the plot of Avatar is people have abilities to... I don't even know if I need to explain this, but people have ability to control different elements, and everyone typically controls one. But then there's this kid called Aang, who's the guy who can do all of the elements. And he takes the role of the Avatar, who is this reincarnation person who is able to control all of the elements and meant to reunite all of the classes and kind of solve the wars and everything. So, kind of a crazy, like, magic type show, but that just... It's difficult to quantify, not gonna lie. Steven Universe, similarly magic-y, where you have aliens called the Gems that also have kind of superhero type powers, and there's this kid called Steven who's half human, half gem, who's throughout the show basically discovering his powers and his family history and all this drama and blah blah. I don't know why I'm doing plot descriptions, but just in case anyone hasn't heard of these shows, even though I imagine a lot of these you might know. Alright, slide 2 from this category. We have Broadchurch, which is like a detective crime show that's British. Has 3 seasons, 7 on 10 in my opinion. This show lives off the dynamic between the main 2 characters, Detective Hardy and Detective Miller. You can see them right here. Like, their whole dynamic is very, like, grumpy. The plot is, like, Detective Hardy, who's the guy, is this detective who gets put into a new small town and to solve this missing kid incident. And he's just really grouchy and doesn't really get along with anyone. And he gets paired up with Miller, who's trying desperately to have, like, good communications, and it's a lot of really cool dynamics. It's got really cool setting. It's like a small British town. It's good detective drama, because I like that. Yeah, good show. And their dynamic is what really carries it from just being a generic cop show to being like really entertaining and good drama. So 7 on 10. Good shit. Next, we have a show called American Vandal, which I don't know if anyone knows or likes the show, but I loved this. This is a really innovative show. Had 2 seasons, which basically is a mockumentary. Like, it's filmed like a documentary investigating a crime, but the crime is... the crime is someone drawing dicks on cars. But it's filmed, like, super seriously, like a real true crime documentary. But the crime is dicks on cars. It's a fictional show, but it's, like, presented in this outfit. It's really, really funny. And if you like true crime, both written or filmed, I highly recommend this TV show. It's really funny. It's like a teen, like, high school setting, but really innovative in the whole mockumentary filming style. I thought this was a banger, underrated show. I really didn't expect it to be this way, you know what I mean, boys? Like, it was unexpectedly good. Like, really good. Season 1, Chef's Kiss. Season 2 is also pretty good still, which is a rare W. For Broadchurch, Season 1 is the best season, because that's the missing kid incident. There's different crimes they solve in the second and third one that are also good, but... yeah, also if there's any Doctor Who fans, this is like the show that was where I first saw Jodie Whittaker, and she plays the mum of the missing child in season 1. Slays the role, not gonna lie. And I have a detective cat. What do you think on Unhingedness that I've seen all of these shows? These 2, for Broadchurch and for American Vandal. 1 out of 10 and 3 out of 10, alright. James, still climb up. But again, I don't think there's going to be any 10 on 10s for Unhinged. Maybe 1 or 2 maximum. I don't think I'm that unhinged with my media taste. But also, again, if there's any shows of these that you have watched yourself, and like, I would love to hear your opinions on them and everything. Alright. Next slide. First, we have Creeped Out. 2 seasons. This is like a, I think, CBBC show. That is like an anthology, so lots of little stories. And it's kind of like the Goosebumps books, or even Black Mirror, but for kids. And I thought this was cool. Like, a bit under... like, they could have done more with the concept than they did, which is why it's a 7 out of 10. But it's really funny, like, to look at it from the angle of, like, it's like Black Mirror, but for kids. It's kind of genuinely unsettling in quite a lot of the episodes. It's not like crazy horror because it's for kids, but the basic concept of like lots of little horror stories with a little bit of a connective thread, I thought was really cool. And honestly, a shame that it only got 2 seasons. 3 mainly because it's not as popular, but doesn't sound that unhinged. Fair enough. And then we have Steven Universe Future, which makes sense because I've already put Steven Universe in this category. Only had 1 season, but 8 on 10 for me. I think it's incredibly bold because so many times you have a child protagonist in an adventure series. Think Percy Jackson, think Steven Universe, think Finn in Adventure Time, think Harry Potter and Harry Potter. That just get put through intense trials and genuinely intensely traumatic experiences as children, and then they skimp out on showing how much that might affect a person, right? So I think having a show like Steven Universe Future, which focuses entirely on how much the main character was affected by the events of his childhood, was really like innovative, very bold. Is it like perfect? No, because they didn't have a lot of time to tell this story, only 1 season, but I loved that. I thought it was a really cool way to finish out Steven's story. So basically, yeah, Steven Universe Future is what happens after the events of Steven Universe, the main show, and then the movie, which is kind of sat in between. And it's very much him, like, there's the scene where he goes to a doctor and she's kind of like, hey, can you recount any traumatic experiences in your childhood? And he starts with the events of like one of the first episodes of the entire show originally. And the doctor's super shocked and he's like, oh no, yeah, no, that was just the start, you know? And that stuck with me so much because, yeah, like he and other children, like adventure protagonists, get put through some serious shit. And it's so often just in shows like that, just pushed under a rug. But Steven Universe Future pulls that rug away and it's like, hey, look at this. So 2 on 10 and 1 on 10, fair enough. What is your unhinged rating? Again, we are at these shows that have like also only a few seasons, like somewhere between 1 and 3 or 4. There's going to be some shows in this presentation that have like 10 plus seasons, so I feel like that's going to raise the unhingedness because I'm saying I've watched all of those seasons. For some of them, I genuinely forgot they had that many seasons, I'm not going to lie. Any more ratings for this, for Creeped Out and Steven Universe Future? Again, for Steven Universe Future, if you like Steven Universe, watch this. For Creeped Out, if you like Black Mirror or you read the Goosebumps books as a child, watch this. It is for kids, so it's not going to be crazy horror, but I think it was really cool and kind of reminiscent of those older formats. Also of like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? But it's more modern, of course, like kids have smartphones and stuff. This is a new show. Or newer, like 2010s era. Any more ratings? Do I see some ratings? Alright, next slide. First we have a show called Forever, which only got 1 season before it was cancelled. I thought it was robbed of having a season 2, because it kind of ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger, which is a shame. And the plot of this show is really cool. Okay, hear me out. It had such a good premise. The premise is the main character is a mortician, but he cannot die. He's lived for like, and looked young for hundreds of years, like 200 or something years. And obviously he has to move around a lot so people don't realize he doesn't die or age. And there's like this young upstart cop who's like getting suspicious of him and like investigates him. And it's really like a crazy premise. There's some really cool character dynamics. It should have got more than 1 season. And again, because it has a cliffhanger ending, it only has 1 season, it's a 7 out of 10. Next, we have The End of the Fucking World, which got 2 seasons. This is a 9 out of 10 for me. This show slayed and it ended at a good point. Like, it didn't drag itself out too long. And it got to tell the story it wanted to tell. So, the plot of this is... It's about a guy who is a psychopath and now wants to graduate from killing animals to killing people. So he abducts this girl to kill her, but actually they accidentally kill someone else, and then they have to like cover it up. And it's a witty show, it's dry, it's a British comedy. Bit unhinged in terms of shit that happens, again, I mean, by the plot description, but really innovative, again, doesn't drag itself out. Both 2 out of 10 sniffer. If you're wondering for new people, we're rating on how unhinged it is that I've watched all of this show, not how much we like the shows. But if you've watched the shows, feel free to say what you liked about them. For Forever, I'd say, would I say watch this? Yes, if you know that there's a cliffhanger ending that never gets resolved. For The End of the Fucking World, would I recommend this? Yes, if you don't mind gore. There's quite multiple scenes of people getting like injured quite intensely. There's quite a lot of blood. You could watch it, write your own ending. Yeah. And I'd say for Forever, like, if you enjoy procedural cop shows and or time shenanigans stories, highly recommend. Very cool. End of the Fucking World, if you like dry humor, if you like a crazy unhinged plot and don't mind gore, I'd say watch it. It's a really funny, like, quirky show. Really good enjoyment level from that one. Chat, we're coming to the end of the good shit category with one final slide. Boom. First, we have a show called The Wrongmans, which was a Hulu original. Never worry why this show got only 2 seasons. And this is a crazy plot of someone finding a phone and picking it up after it rings, and it's a hostage situation. So a completely normal person getting dragged into like crazy gang conflicts and like unlikely friendships develop and everything. It has a crazy plot. It has some interesting development. Only got 2 seasons though, so it's a 7 on 10. Then we have Video Game High School, which is one of the oldest shows I've fully watched in terms of how long ago was it that I fully watched this show. This was a Red Rooster production of what if people who played professional esports went to like a dedicated high school for it. And it's from the perspective of this kid called... was his name Law? I think his name must have been Law. It was a long time ago that I watched the show. Who kind of gets like a scholarship to get into this video game high school. And it had crazy visual effects because it was done by cool visual effects people. It was genuinely a super impressive production for the time. It's like 10 plus years old. And if you like video games, watch it, man. It's funny. It's silly. It has like some really out there actors that you wouldn't expect to be in this show. And then finally, yippee! Gay people. Gay People, the TV show. No, I'm kidding. But Heartstopper, 1 season, 9 on 10. I've watched this show multiple times. I've read the graphic novels. It's really, really good. What do you want? Good shit. Good shit. I feel like most gay people have at least heard of this. Like, I feel like most people in general have at least heard of this if they are plugged in at all into Netflix releases. So there's gonna be a 2nd season coming out in the summer. I'm excited. Yippee. But as someone who is like engaged with the Heartstopper story so many times by reading and rereading the graphic novels, who's watched the first season here at least 3 times completely, it is really, really good. Is it like the best show ever? No. Am I still really into the story? Yes. Which is why it's a 9 on 10. I think I only have 2 10 on 10s total in this entire presentation. So wait and find out which ones they are. What do you think? How unhinged are these 3 shows? The Romance on Hulu, Video Game High School, which is a web show, technically, and Heartstopper on Netflix. And, well, the plot of Heartstopper is, you know, boy meets boy at school, they fall in love. Very, very basic plot. I don't think I need to do more summary there. Do-do-do-do-do. 2 out of 2, 2 out of 2, and 1 out of 10. Yeah, I feel like Heartstopper is very normal. Very, very normal. Also, I feel like doing this presentation after my Crush presentation is going to explain some of these TV shows. Because some of these are genuinely shows I've only watched because I, at the time, was really into one of the actors. I'm very normal. Real? Yeah. There's a category for that. Category 4 is for this, I think. Yeah. Alright. Next category, chat, because we've got quite a few of these. We've got good shows that get better over time. So these shows were either just okay or good at the start, and then they go mega mode later. So shows I think were pretty alright or even good at the start, but then they just kind of evolve like a Pokemon. Are you ready for this? There isn't a lot in this category, if I remember correctly. No, there's like 3 shows here. Is that correct? I think there's only 1 slide for this. Let me check. Yeah, there's only 1 slide for this because there isn't a lot of shows that I thought fit this category. So, these are the shows. We have Adventure Time with 10 seasons. Rating 8 on 10. Basic plot. It's a fantasy universe and it's about this kid called Finn and his dog who has stretch abilities. It starts really basic and it's just kind of a show about like kid having adventures. But then they add like banger songs and some really cool world building and storytelling in the later seasons. As someone who, like, I thought Adventure Time was just a pretty good TV show for kids when it started, but then they have all of that lore about how did the world happen to change into this post-apocalyptic setting. A lot about the character background stories is very like in-depth and explores quite a lot of good topics. So I think and of course the music slays so hard in like the later seasons. And Finn as a character being allowed to grow, like genuinely age during the show, is something I found really cool. It doesn't get done enough in my opinion in cartoon shows. So to me, in the 10 seasons of Adventure Time, it went from a very typical 2000s era cartoon of like ageless characters go on adventures to like the innovative 2010 era there's a story here cartoon. 8 on 10. Then we have Rhett and Link's Buddy System, the YouTube Red show. Rip YouTube Red. Rip Bozo. If you don't know, this is a show done by the YouTubers Rhett and Link, obviously, makes sense. And the first season is a very strange plot about this is a fictional show, by the way, their shared ex stealing their phone and getting access to their YouTube channel and using it to scam people and them trying to get it back. It's a very mid-season 1. It's like, okay, I get it. You YouTubers, you've got money. Alright. Season 2 goes hard. Season 2 didn't need to go this hard for this fucking YouTube Red original show. Because it's, they do a complete shift in terms of the structure of the show. And season 2 is, what if Rhett and Link, who like are very famous for having been best friends since the first day of first grade, and they're still best friends to this day, right? They're very known for this, and they make a season about what if they had never become best friends. And it's like a really cool alternative universe where they then move in as adults, as roommates, but they never became friends, so they're completely different people. And there's shenanigans, there's crazy musical numbers, the music slays in season 2, and I got so invested in the characters and the story they were telling in season 2, and I'm so upset that they never went anywhere else with it. Because season 1 is completely separated, basically. Like, genuinely, even in universe. Season 1 and season 2 are completely different universes. So it's a 7 on 10, because to me, season 2 is like a 9 on 10, but season 1 is like a 4 or 5. Season 1 is really, really, like, substanceless to me. Doesn't have much to say. Season 2, slayed. Then next, we have another, like, Disney Channel show, Andi Mack. 3 seasons is another 7 on 10 for me. This is a show that got very, very popular for having the first, like, out gay character in a Disney Channel show. I don't know if you were around for this. It was a few years ago. But the original basic plot of this is it's about a girl who finds out that who she thought was her older sister is actually her mother. Kind of a crazy plot to have as a Disney Channel show, not gonna lie. And this show was so based for a Disney Channel show. The amount of serious topics that it tackled was crazy. Like, the teenage pregnancy is not even the craziest part. Like, they talked about racism, they talked about sexism, they talked about anxiety, they talked about guns, they talked about sexuality. Like, so much in this show. There's, like, I would say, in my opinion, this is one of the most progressive Disney Channel shows that they've ever done. Rip it only having 3 seasons. And as mentioned, it does have a main cast gay character who does come out onto, like, in the show and uses the word gay actively on the show. Was really into this show when it aired because I got kind of, so it's a plus rep moment. Also, there's a lot of racial diversity in this show. There's a lot of other things. They talk about learning disabilities too, so crazy. They went kind of hard with this show, not gonna lie. And I was one of the people who started watching this show, kind of like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Brooklyn Nine-Nine isn't in this PowerPoint, by the way, because I've not finished this show. I've not watched the last season. But similar enough to Brooklyn Nine-Nine, this is a show that I found out about because it went super viral after a character came out. So in Andi Mack's case, after that, one character does actually come out. Shout out Cyrus, you slayed. 1 out of 10 and last 2 out of 10, fair enough. So that's why I started watching the shows, because obviously I was a bit old at the time for this show, because it is only a few years old. And I wasn't like a child, but I still think, even as an adult, this is a really good show. It's about family, it's about friendship, it's about, like, romance. Also, shout out for actually having the gay character have not 1 but 2 romantic interests. A rare moment. Claps. Can't remember hearing about the Andi Mack show. It got, like, struck down quite a lot in various countries because of the gay representation, so that was kind of a big topic, similar like Steven Universe, but I don't know if it got ever that big outside of the gay factor, which is a shame because, as I mentioned, they tackle a lot of other topics that are relevant for, like, young adults / teens / kids. Like, generally, if you're American, I think, especially, like, there's, like, an episode where, like, a kid brings a gun to school and things like that. And I thought they handled all of that really well. They had, like, a big thing where one of the main... I don't know why I know this much about the show, but yeah. They had a big thing where in season 3 they had to do a lot of reshuffling because the actor who played the father of Andi Mack's family turned out to be a predator. So they had to, like, remove him from the show and cut him completely out and shit. And it was a little bit, like, they did the best they could, obviously, with the circumstances, but it was a big yikes at the time. It was a big yikes that this person was horrific and was involved in the production until season 3. I mean, they didn't know that he was horrific. I'm just saying it generally was a shame. Alas, any more unhinged ratings here? So, in terms of recommendations, Adventure Time, I'd say, do you need to watch the entire 10 seasons of the show? Maybe not. should you watch it still if you've never watched it? Yes. Especially the story elements that they include in the later seasons, I think are amazing. Random Links Buddy System, only watch season 2. Spare yourself. Andy Mack, if you enjoy, I guess, kids/teen shows, I'd say watch it. It's genuinely one of the best Disney Channel shows in my opinion, just period. Banger. Oh, I remembered, like, there's so many shows I forgot about. God damn it. Any shows that I unintentionally left out, it was not on purpose. Because I'm just thinking of other Disney Channel shows. And I'm sure there's probably one or two that I've fully watched, but I'm not sure. Again, never mind. There's still a lot of TV shows in this presentation, so we're not running short on anything. Any more unhinged ratings, lads? How unhinged is it that I've watched all of these completely? Do 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 do. Ba 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 da da da. I'm jamming. Me right now is literally the cat jam emote. Alright, are you ready for category 4 then? Are you ready for up and down? This is gets good and bad and then bad again. So it's basically shows that at some points I really like them, other points I'm like, what the fuck? And they don't really have like a trajectory, like it was bad and now it's good, or it was good and now it's bad. It's more like up and downy, roller coaster, emotional attachment. Alright. Slide 1. First we have Gavin and Stacey. 3 seasons. I gave this a 5 out of 10. The basic plot is it's about a guy called Gavin who's English and a girl called Stacey who's Welsh, and they date. It's like a pretty iconic, like 2000s British TV show. Again, some really iconic scenes in this show. Like, it's a funny show, but it's also old at this point. Like, some stuff just doesn't age very well in a comedy show from like 15 plus years ago. But it is iconic. If you are into British TV, this is one of the icons of the last like 25 years. And then on the other side, we have The Politician on Netflix, which has 2 seasons. I gave this a 7 on 10. It has some of the craziest plot points I've seen. It's very unhinged, but it's also really camp. Like, it's a gay-ass show. Just saying. If you've never watched this, the basic plot is it's about this kid called Peyton. Pretty sure his name was Peyton. Yeah, Peyton. Who wants to be class president, and he's gonna stop at nothing to accomplish his goals. So he runs like a basically realistic level political campaign for a high school class presidency position, and like he has like, you know, fucking campaign workers, and he's trying to do like deals. And in season 1 he has a gay ass crisis, I'm just saying. But The Politician is a show that just kind of, it's like made by the same person who made Glee, if you want to know how camp it is. Like, it is real crazy with some of the plot points. And in season 2 he's like running an actual political campaign. Also, it has a polyamory couple in season 2, which I've never seen on TV ever. Shout out. But yeah, if you like political intrigue, if you like camp, if you like drama, it's the show for you. Is it always good? No. Is it fun? Kinda. But what I mean with the up and down is like season 1 is kind of good at the start, then it kind of goes crazy. And the same thing happens in season 2, where like the premise is really cool. In the first few episodes, you're like, yo? And then at the end, it's like, what the fuck is even happening? Which is why it's an up and down. For Gavin and Stacey, it's very much the same. It's like some of the later specials are really, really good, but then I don't know. It has that age problem. 3 on 10. Okay, 3 on 10. What do you guys think on the unhinged factor? That's like you guys' input. If you've watched these shows, by the way, feel free to say what you thought. But if you've not, just look at the fun cat and tell me from a scale on 1 is the most normal behavior ever to 10, seek mental health assistance. How unhinged is it that I've watched the entire show? And for some of these, like Gavin and Stacey, this includes like all of the Christmas specials and stuff like that. There's some TV shows I feel like where you're gonna judge me heavily. I'm not gonna lie. Like, oh boy. Alright. The next one, and the final category slide for Up and Down, has 3 shows, and I've kind of broken down my opinions on them. Boom. So first off, we've got The Umbrella Academy, which I recently watched season 3 of, and am thus caught up. I give this an 8 on 10. I really like the show. And again, it has an absolutely iconic season 1. 10 on 10. Stayed in my brain for ages. Banger. Season 2 was such a disappointment. This is a 7 on 10. It's still pretty good, but like, eh. And then season 3, it dips up a bit again to an 8 on 10 for me, which is why it's an 8 on 10 overall, basically. But yeah, that's what I meant. It was very up and down. I love The Umbrella Academy. It's so silly. Season 2 is kind of bad. Yeah, yay! Yippee! Lemiz in the chat. So this is why it's in the up and down. Like, season 1 had, like, I love time travel stories. So if you don't know, the plot is family of kids with supernatural powers who got adopted by this old, eccentric, and horrifically abusive guy. They get pulled together by the guy dying in season 1. And suddenly, one of their siblings, who went missing when he was 13, randomly appears in the midst of them. And damn, he was lost in time the whole fucking time. Crazy, and there's an apocalypse to stop. That's the plot of Umbrella Academy. It's very wild, wacky, visually a bit silly at times. But yeah, up and down in my opinion. Next up, Parks and Recreation. Parks and Recreation was one of the shows that was very much in the same breath as like The Office for a lot of people. And a lot of people love the show. And I'm here to slander on it a bit. No, I'm kidding. But it has 7 seasons. And I rated this a 6 on 10. Season 1 is horrific. Like, if you've watched this show now and you're like me, I always watch shows from the beginning. I don't skip ahead or something. And season 1 has aged so horribly for Parks and Recreation. It's, in general, the show has a big issue with, like, especially a lot of fat phobia. Like, a lot. And not all of the jokes have aged very well. And season 7, the finale, the final season, they're so horrible. Like, why? Okay, Parks and Recreation has a lot of really good memes that have survived to the day. It's got where that treat yourself is from Parks and Rec and stuff like that. But, by God, I'm not over it. That, like, big spoiler, but such a huge storyline of this entire show is Leslie and Ben's relationship, and then they finally get engaged, and then they just skip out of the wedding that they set up for like half a season and just have them like spontaneously elope. And I'm like, bro, this is such a shit thing. And then they do the finale and set it like in the future and randomly give them like triplets. And I'm like, the whole point of doing a show that is so centered around character relationships is to get you invested in the character relationships. And then they do so many things where they just skip ahead to a future event rather than showing how the characters get there. And it's so annoying. So it's a 6 on 10. I don't think I will ever actually watch the show again. Because it has like so many... It's a show about someone working in local government, so very appealing to that part of me that likes political drama. But it's basically the most boring parts, and B, it's so up and down with how the characters act and how things go, and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, I have a lot of gripes. To me, and I don't know, it may be because it was so overhyped to me when I first watched it. It just has it has too up and down energy for me. 6 on 10. And then finally on this slide we have Stranger Things with 4 seasons. And I give this a 7 on 10 overall. And these are kind of my breakdowns. So season 1, iconic. Kid goes missing, other kid appears, kid has supernatural powers, crazy aliens. I feel like Stranger Things is such a ubiquitous media entity at this point. Most people know the general plot. But yeah, season 1, iconic, 9 out of 10. Season 2, pretty good still, but worse, 8 out of 10. Season 3, what the fuck? 6 out of 10. Season 4, a little better, but still like, see, 7 out of 10. Like, I just didn't get the hype for any of the characters that got hyped in like season 3 and 4. Like the new characters. I was like, okay, I get it, but when season 4 came out especially, you could not step 3 feet on the internet without running into Eddie Munson. And I never got the hype for this character. I thought he was fucking annoying and like a bully, and he didn't even get enough screen time, in my opinion, to get very attached to him. Like, oh my god. And I like Steve as much as the next guy, right? But like, why are you sidelining Will Byers, like, as a character? I'm like, oh my god. He was one of the best characters in seasons 1 and 2, and then they just shaft him in the last 2 seasons that have come out. Oh my god. If Donnie from Twitter was here, he would agree, but just saying. Just saying. So for me, it's an up and down experience because I really like the show and the universe, but I just think the characters that get centered, the relationships that get centered, are a little bit off. And also, I don't like this trend of introducing a new character and trying to make the audience super attached to them and then just kill them off. I feel like it's been done too many times in Stranger Things. Genuinely too many times. Like, I feel like every season they have 1 to 2 characters that they set up in this way. And maybe that's why I didn't want to or didn't feel attached. You're so based sometimes, you know, thank you. Only sometimes, excuse me, no, I'm kidding, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like once we got to Eddie in season 4 and like, what was her name? Chrissy? In season 4, I was like, I'm just expecting a new character that gets introduced and that gets a lot of screen time comparatively. I just expect that character to die at the end of the season. On unhingedness, of course. Yeah, exactly. We're rating on unhingedness, not on how much we like the shows. But if you've watched them, feel free to rate how much you enjoy them as well. So, because I give my ratings here on enjoyment. But you boys, I'm asking mostly for, do you think it's unhinged? I've seen all of this. Ba 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 ba. And yeah, I'm kind of excited how season 5 is going to be of Stranger Things, but also I feel like the show will inevitably suffer from the huge gaps of like the actors aging up and the huge production gaps. Because that's another thing. I thought season 1 was such an innovative season for dealing with a pretty mature storyline, but the actors are children, right? But then in the later like 3 and 4, because the actors are so much older, a little bit of that charm and contrast of, oh my gosh, it's scary, but the characters are children, has gotten lost. It's a similar issue, I feel like, that the new movie adaptations had, where I loved the first It like a lot, but then there could have been so much stuff that they could have done better in It Chapter 2, but hear me out. I just like horror slash... I actually just like horror with like young protagonists. I think it's a really cool contrast that both of those franchises kind of lose a little bit with the older actors. But alright, there we go. That was the up and down category. Are you ready for mayhaps the most critical category so far? Why did I watch all of that? And I say, whether I was encouraged to watch these by someone else or not, somehow I've seen every damn episode. These are shows where I myself don't even know why did I invest this much lifetime into this show? I don't know. Are you ready? I'm gonna get another drink really quickly though, but I'll be back in 2 seconds while you prepare yourselves. Yes, hypey, alright. I'm back and I've got a drink and on to slide number 1. First off, we have Violet Evergarden, which is one of the other few animes I've fully watched. Has 1 season. And I'm rating this a 4 on 10. Mostly because the idea is cool. It's about this girl called Violet Evergarden, who's not really a girl, but a fighter robot, who got injured and is trying to recover. And she is learning to be a typist now that she's kind of unable to be in war purposes. I have watched this entire TV show, which is 1 season, right, in 1 sitting, because I had a friend who was like, you need to watch this. And I got basically dragged into watching this in a single sitting. Mind you, this is like, I don't even know how long, but I think this was like a 6 to 8 hour experience. And this is not a bad anime overall at first. It's like, okay, it's a war setting, kind of, but it's got cool animation. But then they romantic code the relationship between Violet, who's like 16, by the way. She's kind of a robot, but she's also 16, and her supervising officer, who's like in his 30s. And I'm like, that is yikes, that is just terrible. Why the fuck is this happening? So, what the fuck? No. Again, I'm not an anime guy, and one of the main reasons is because, let's say, at best, dodge relationships like that are just kind of normalized. But yeah, Violet Evergarden, wouldn't recommend, I'm not gonna lie. Next up, 1 sitting, 8 people sit, yeah, because I had a friend who was like, oh my god, you need to watch this entire show with me right now, and I'm like, okay. Needless to say, sometimes I'm too self-indulgent of other people, too other-indulgent, I guess. Because I'm not indulging myself, I'm indulging someone else. Sigh. Alright, other show here on this slide is Arrested Development, which is a comedy show for 5 seasons. I rate this a 5 on 10. It's an okay show, but... and it's kind of the original of like, haha, rich dicks TV show. Like, oh my gosh, look at these unhinged rich people who don't know how life works. There's kind of a lot of shows like that, but this one is one of the OGs because it's old at this point. But, as I've mentioned already with like... what show was it? There was like another show that's like... it's a comedy show, but it kind of overdoes the jokes and the scenarios. I forgot which one, but one of them. So yeah, this TV show kind of has the same jokes times 1,000, I said, of like, oh my gosh, it's a dysfunctional family, and it has as its quirky thing a like narrator who does jokes about the show. And yeah, it has some moments, but also there's a whole romance line about a character having a crush on their cousin. And I mean their first cousin. And I'm like, okay, why? Then there's like a kind of interesting gay subplot in season 5, but then they kind of don't really do enough with it. Season 4 is just completely unhinged because they were like, hey, let's make a show that you can watch the episodes in different order, but it's completely wild, it doesn't work. 4 on 10 for both, that is respectable. A little bit more unhinged. And I don't even know why I watched all of Arrested Development. Because it was kind of funny, but then they really overdid it. It also came out that about one of the actors that he was horrific to work with on set, which is never fun to find out, I think. Anymore, how unhinged is this ratings? Plus, I hope you've been enjoying all the cat pictures, boys. Any cat pictures enjoyers in the chat? Cat kiss, so true, chat. You're based for that. I love the cats, yippee! Yippee! Right, any more unhinged ratings? Also, again, if you've watched any of these shows, feel free to say your opinions too. I love how I found like a way around my presentation problem. It's kind of funny. 4 out of 10 is pretty generous for Arrested Development in my opinion. Awkward. On unhingedness. On liking the show. I really should have specified that. I feel like me putting the rating of how I enjoy the show has made it a bit confusing for what I want you boys to answer. Like, in my opinion, for Arrested Development, it has like some really... It has some cool side characters, but then they just kind of don't do much with them. And it's got great memes. Like, all the memes about Buster Bluth and, like, Lucille. Like, it's also the origins of so many, like, iconic things about, like, pop culture. Like, Dead Dove Do Not Eat originates from Arrested Development, which is very funny. Or, like, I won these awards at Army and its plushies. Or, there's always money in the banana stand. So many jokes. The characters were a bit random sometimes. Yeah, they are very random. But it's kind of what I said. It's like, this is the origin of, like, no way, it's from that show. Yes! Those references are from this show. So it has, like, a purpose, especially in memes. Similar to how in my opinion, the best part about Parks and Recreation is the memes from that TV show. Like, this is, from Parks and Rec you had, this is my boyfriend, and this is my boyfriend's boyfriend. That's from Parks and Rec. Then Treat Yourself, the song from Parks and Rec. Like the Would a Sane Person Do This is from Parks and Rec. Like, there's so many good memes from these shows, even if the shows themselves aren't ones that I really love. But yeah, alright. Next slide, chat. We have Mulvaney. Well, not Mulvaney, Mulvaney, sorry. Said that wrong. Season 1, I rate this 3 out of 10. Just watch the stand-up. Literally just watch the stand-up because it's better. There's this like John Mulaney's like attempt to make a multi-camera sitcom, and it's really bad. Like, it's really, really bad because it's not because the production itself is bad, but because it's literally the same stories from his stand-up. So anyone who was a John Mulaney enjoyer who watched this show then would have already known about 8 to 90% of all of the content. Why? This song I don't want. Go away. There you go. So yeah, I really don't get what they want with this show. And evidently no one else did because it got cancelled after 1 season. Because why? Why would you just make a show that's literally only the content of the stand-up but acted out? Like, who's this show for? No one knows. Again, I say, if you're thinking, hey, this might be funny, no, just watch the stand-up clips on YouTube and just, you know. Alright. Then we have Who is America, which has also got only 1 season because it's like a documentary. I give this a 2 on 10. I dislike this immensely. Immensely. The whole point of this is kind of investigating what American reality is like and looking at other countries and how they deal with certain issues and try to approach it like that way. But it says nothing meaningfully. It has like even some misinformation about how other countries work, which why? And it's just straight up boring and forgettable, sorry. I watched this ages ago and I was trying to remember what to say about the show for the stream. And I'm like, what even happened? I need to dig deep and read the fucking episode descriptions to even remember anything from it. So for me, like, if a show is forgettable and has no positive, like, remember, like, things that stand out from me, that alone is kind of a big negative. But yeah, as I mentioned, there's some stuff where they talk. I remember it's when Bob's Burger was supposed to be on. One time, Mulaney came on, instead I was livid. Damn, that was a long time ago. Fair enough. I've started watching Bob's Burgers, but I never got very far. 3 out of 10 on both, and to make sure chat knows I rate unhingedness, I will make sure you know my opinion on the shows themselves if I have them, silly. Thank you, James. Yeah, just put, like, unhinged somewhere in the message, that makes sense. So yeah, Who's America? Absolute dog shit. What the fuck was even going on? No one knows. If you're wondering, we are in the why did I watch all of that category. Next up, truly the crossover of the century. Sorry, just made me laugh to think of these two shows on the same slide. But on the left we have Hannah Montana, the Disney Channel show, with its 4 seasons. I've rated this a 5 on 10, and I'm saying, okay, but who didn't? Like, okay, genuinely, if you were in a similar-ish age group as myself, who didn't watch at least a bit of Hannah Montana? Why did I watch all of it? No one knows. But yeah, the basic plot of this is girl who has a double life. I'm switching a song. Girl has a double life, one where she's a normal teenager who goes to high school, and the other where she's an international pop star. And the whole thing is based on her switching to blonde hair when she's a pop star. Did it make sense? No. Was it kind of funny sometimes? Yeah. Was it worth watching the whole 4 seasons? Probably not. Again, I don't know why I've watched all of the show, but I definitely did. And it was all on YouTube, because this was in the days when you could watch entire TV shows on YouTube. And on the right, we have the Ted Bundy tapes from the Netflix show, with its 1 season. I'm rating this a 3 on 10. Boo. Just no. It was so long, it was so drawn out. Ted Bundy is a dick who doesn't need more media attention. And need I say, it was boring. It was so boring. Again, I kind of like true crime, as you can see from some of the shows I watch, but oh my god. Why? Why was the show made, A, and B, why was it so much about how how people reacted to him getting electrocuted? Like, why was this, like, something that I needed to see, or that the world needed to know about? How people were, like, cheering in the streets when he got executed. No one else. Just no. Don't need to spend more time on white men serial killers, I'm not gonna lie. What are your thoughts on unhingedness for these two? Unhingedness 1 on 10 and 3 on 10. Yes, I've watched a few Hannah Montana episodes. Yeah, I feel like if you were in a general age where this show was relevant. I've also watched the movie as well, which was even worse. Like, in terms of, it was worse than the show, not it was worse than I've watched the movie. Well, maybe it was. I think the next slide is the final... Yeah, the final why did I watch all of that is upcoming. I liked the movie as a kid, silly. Yeah, but it's so generic romance. Unhinged is 3 on 10 and 1 on 10. Fair enough. I feel like the Ted Bundy show was very, like, ubiquitous when it came out. But yeah, in my opinion, yeah. It's not even the best movie or TV show about Ted Bundy. And you know, just no. It was not needed, you know, it doesn't need to be done. We can stop, okay? Hollywood, we can stop with the adaptation, but specifically a few selected, like, white male serial killers. We can fucking end it all, okay? Hear me out. Just no. Alright, the final slide. Young Royals, which is a show I've recently watched and talked about, has 2 seasons so far. My rating is 6 on 10. So much drama. Cheating and miscommunication just everywhere. And I've also said, answer why I watched, pointed to this picture. No, I'm kidding, but like, this show is about the fictional Swedish crown prince. Well, he ends up the crown prince, going to a boarding school and having this gay romance. And oh my god, there's so much just annoying ass teen drama in this show. Will I still watch season 3? Yes. But like, why? They had so much potential and they just never really get there, in my opinion, which is why it's a 6 on 10. It was cool to watch a non-US or UK show though, so I'm very intrigued to watch like more Scandinavian or other shows like that in the similar genre. Like, or generally like European, doesn't need to be Scandinavian. Like Elite is another show I've seen stuff about that I've never watched. So I'm kind of intrigued to watch more shows that are... I stopped watching Young Royals for the repetitive drama KW, fair enough. I'm just a completionist, and yeah, but like, oh my god, it's so annoying how much like it's normalized in teen drama shows to have cheating and miscommunication just everywhere. And not on a fun level, like on an annoying level. And in general, I just think normalizing, like saying it's okay if characters cheat because it's the couple that should end up together, like no, fuck that. And then on the right, we have another Netflix true crime show that I didn't love, about the disappearance of Madeleine McCann, called The Disappearance of Madeleine McCann. I rate this a 4 out of 10, have one season. Mostly because it's so drawn out. Like, this case had a lot of media attention in general, so did it need another Netflix series about it? No. But also, they drew this investigation, like, out to a crazy extent. I think this show had like 8 episodes that are an hour long. 8 or 6, I don't remember. But bro, they didn't need to do this. It was so long and honestly boring half of the time, because they just go into a lot of theories and then the theory had no merit, and I'm like, why did you waste breath on this? No one knows. Alright, what did you think? 1 through 10 unhingedness for watching all of Young Royals and all of the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. 1 on 10, 2 on 10. Good. So yeah, if you don't know anything about this disappearance case, it's about this girl who's like 3 and she goes missing in like a popular British holiday resort. And it was a huge deal and mostly exposed the hypocrisy of the media when it comes to having insane biases, which cases get media coverage and which don't. Unhinged is 0 on 10 on 5 on 10. Fair enough. Fair enough. Because I remember like reading a whole article about why like cases that got underreported at the same time as the Madeleine McCann case got like crazy media attention in the UK because she was a little blonde British girl. This song's a bit intense. Happy Day in Paris. Ah, so true. And now we go to category number 6. Watched for Blorbo and suffered the consequences. If you don't know what a Blorbo is, it's basically your favorite character or person from a media. It can be anything or anyone, if you're unfamiliar. It's quite a useful term. My friends and me use it lots. Because it's like your absolute favorite. And it can be from any media, so TV, it can be a real person or a fictional character, doesn't matter. So for us, this is kind of a helpful term, because you don't need to say, oh, your favorite person or character, it's both in one. And I would say, my comment on this is, were these shows good? No. Did I get to look at hot men? Yes, sir. So this is basically exposing why did I watch this whole TV show, even if it was horrible. Yeah, I'm doing a bit of a confession moment right away. Blowber for the win. Yeah, it's a very good term. Oh, yeah, there's not a lot in this category. There's like 4 TV shows, but still. Oh boy, were they bad. / mediocre. May we begin? We start with a show called Do No Harm, which had only 1 season. I rated this a 1 on 10. This show is horrible. It is the worst dog shit. It's a combination of actually horrifically representation of people with DID, right? And also just the worst plot you've ever seen. Like, what the fuck happens? The whole plot is about a surgeon whose alter ego is like a violent criminal, and what the fuck happens? And yeah, as I wrote, so bad people made a cutoff of only one of the side characters, because that was like the part that was interesting or good in this show, because the main plot is horrifically terrible. It's like a kind of mystery / doctor show, but What the fuck? Like, even people who worked on the show have talked about how horrible it was. And, like, why? Why? 1 on 10. Then on the right, we have a show called Grace Point, which is an American remake of Broadchurch that ran for 1 season, and it's a 2 on 10. They basically remade the plot of the first season of Broadchurch with some of the same actors, but some actors, different actors. Then they changed the way the case gets solved, but keep, like, almost all of that and the rest the same. And I'm just saying, why would you want to watch Grace Point with David Tennant making, using an American accent, or watch Broadchurch where it's David Tennant with a Scottish accent? I'm just saying how it is, okay? Like, Grace Point just is Broadchurch but worse, and, like, a lot worse. American remake, despair. Why? Like why? Like, it is so bad, and I mean, there's a reason why it only ran for 1 season. Just saying. Unhinged is 6 on 10 and 3 on 10. Okay, you're raising it up, yeah. Despair, head in hands. So true. So yeah, if you want to watch a good British crime drama with David Tennant looking absolutely smashing, like, I'm just saying, that man is wearing a suit almost all of the time in that show, and oh boy. Watch Broadchurch. It's a really good show, especially season 1. Grace Point is just the worst American copy. Despair. Next up, we bring in The Politician's Husband. Sorry, David Tennant. It's so mid. It was at 1 season. It's basically about the lady is a politician, and it's about them having the worst marriage you've ever seen, and oh my god, it's boring and drawn out. 4 on 10. Hot people in hot outfits, but not much else to offer. It's literally eye candy. And then we have a show called Kings, which only ran for 1 season, and I give this a 3 on 10 for 2 reasons. Reason 1, it ends on a horrific cliffhanger that never gets resolved. Despair. And holy shit, religious media thing. Like, this was kind of put to me as a show that's what if you had kings and queens and things like that, and knights, but there was modern technology. But oh my god, so much about this is just like weird religious stories being adapted into a media, and oh my god, I don't even know what happens in most of the show. The fuck? It was not good, needless to say. What are your thoughts on these shows? What are your thoughts on Unhingedness for The Politician's Husband, which was, I think, a BBC Direct TV show. Like, BBC, I think, maybe 3. Might have been BBC 3. I don't remember. And Kings. Unhinged is 3 out of 10 for both. Fair enough, fair enough. But yeah, for Kings, I was absolutely blindsided how they have a character called David in the show who's literally just like David and Goliath from the story. And I did not expect this show to be so heavily religious. Like, bro. Politician's Husband is kind of just like a very generic political marriage drama show. Like, it just is special, but inherently it's not. Like, I would never have watched The Politician's Husband if I didn't think David Tennant was hot. I'm not gonna lie. Again, why is David Tennant here twice in these 4 shows? Why is he here twice? Bruh. Have better projects, I'm kidding, but yeah. That's how I feel. Alright, agreed. Okay. Third last category, chat. Good but not great. They were decent shows. What can I say? So these are kind of shows where I thought, like, they were alright, but they didn't. They never really reached really high highs. That's kind of their definition. Like, they did have some bad bits? Yeah. Did they have some good bits? Yeah, but most of them were just kind of mid, okay? Mid opinions on these shows. Doesn't mean I would say don't watch these, just they were kind of middle of the road for me most of the time. But still good, you know, but still good. I bring in the first slide. On the left, we have a show called Cam Cam. Thank you for the hydrate. Which is a web cartoon. That's like an adult animation show. Has 4 seasons. It has really nice animation. The setting is like kids at a summer camp, but there's crazy shit happening. It has really cool lore. Like this show, when it's good, it's really good. It has there's like ghosts, there's like the background story, but for some of the characters is really creative and cool. But most of the time it's just kind of, it falls in that, oh my gosh, it's kids being outrageous category. Which it's just a little bit like, eh. And some of the characters I think are just genuinely really annoying, and I don't like when they focus on them in episodes. So, eh. But it's free on YouTube, so, you know, it's a 6 on 10 still. Like, it has some really cool episodes. It also has like 1 or 2 really good musical episodes. But, like, a lot of the time it's just like, okay, outrageous shit happens. Like, people get injured, kids swear, things like that. And on the right, we have a show called Heartbreak High, specifically the Netflix remake, which has 1 season so far. I'm rating this a 6 on 10 too. It's an Australian high school drama that they've remade for modern audiences, because there used to be an original show in, I think, the 90s. That ran for like 7 seasons, but then they've remade it now for modern audiences. It has a lot of really cool representation. There's like an ace character in here. Shout out, W. There's also a main character who's autistic. Shout out. But also she's autistic and lesbian, which is based. But her partner, her girlfriend, is the most upsetting ableist person who doesn't get fucking called out properly for it, and oh my god, it was infuriating. So in my opinion, it hasn't really started to get like really good, because it's only had 1 season. I think there's meant to be more in the future, and I thought the representation was handled a little bit because yeah, they have an autistic main character who is LGBT as well, nice, but as mentioned, I thought she in this picture, by the way, she's dating the girl with the pink hair. So these two are dating here at the front. I don't know if you could see that, but girl with pink hair and girl with crazy eyeshadow are dating. But I just thought their relationship was had a little bit like, could have been better. And then the ace character has like this whole coming out to one of the other characters who's gay, and the gay character's just super aphobic, and he never gets properly challenged for it, and I'm like, okay. As mentioned, it only has 1 season, so I could change my opinion once, like, if there's going to be a second season, if they get a bit more growth for the characters, but Unhinged, it's 2 out of 10 both. Fair enough. But yeah, to me, it's just kind of like a middle of the road with a few good and a few good bad bits. Teen drama. But it is cool that it's Australian though, so if you like Australian shows, I guess watch it. I'm really exposing how many teen dramas I watch on Netflix, especially. Any more Unhinged ratings for Camp Camp and Heartbreak High? Oh yeah, the basic plot of Heartbreak High, I forgot, is you have these 2 girls who are friends, and they... Oh yeah, the main villain in Heartbreak High gets, like, absolutely forgiven at the end for no reason, but okay. The main plot is there's these 2 girls who are best friends, and they did a whole wall art of who is hooked up with who in their school. It used to be secret, but then it gets exposed, and one of the girls lets the other one take the full blame. So everyone in the school now has to take extra sex education because, you know, the school leadership is kind of like, oh my god, all of these kids are having sex, and what the fuck? They need to be informed. So yeah, that's the plot of that show. Alright. Next slide, boys. Bring in a show called Strangers with Candy. This had 3 seasons. I'm rating this as at 6 out of 10. This is a show that's a comedy, very absurd comedy show from the 90s about this girl who drops out of school at 16 and then goes to prison, I think, for like 20 years. So she goes back to high school at age 36. Like just normal high school. And it's like a very weird, absurd comedy. And honestly, the main characters, like, are just not... Like, they're just crazy on purpose, but a lot of the side characters are really good. So, genuinely, I've watched this TV show just for the side characters, who, by the way, are, like, a gay couple who are, like, have a lot of drama going on, but in a crazy, just weird way. So, a lot of the side characters just carry, whereas the main characters is just very repetitive jokes. Like, oh my god, she's a lot older than the other high school students. Because she's like 36 and everyone else is like 16. So, kind of a weird show. Don't know why I watched all of it, not gonna lie. But, yeah. Yeah. Kind of had like a lot of like some really strong points in the side characters. That's what I'm saying. Side characters slayed in this. It's like this pair of teachers in the background here, you can see them, like two of the guy with the front and the guy with the glasses in the back on the left. They have like this teacher secret gay romance and it's like really good. But anyways, and then on the right we have Nicky, Ricky, Dicky and Dawn, the Nickelodeon TV show, which had 4 seasons. Rating this a 6 out of 10. It was pretty good for a Nickelodeon live action show, I'm not gonna lie. It's another one where like the characters get older and it's like family drama and it's about these kids who are quadruplets. So that's kind of like the whole point. It's like, oh, and their family runs a sports shop. And it's like 3 boys, 1 girl. A lot of drama. Shenanigans. It was a very fun and silly show. Nothing super deep because it's a Nickelodeon TV show, but it was kind of fun, you know. For what it is, it was kind of fun. And Hinge does 2 out of 10 for both. If you actually do 3 on 10 and 2, thank you. I was about to say, surely Strangers with Candy is a bit more unhinged. If you actually do this show, you would probably up the unhinged factor, because, I mean, so much shit happens in that. Any more opinions, boys? Yeah, props, yeah. Because she also has... if I hold on, I don't even know if I can show you a clip from it on Twitch, but it's a crazy show. She like originally drops out for like, I think, to do drugs, and it says there's a lot of like strange sex stuff in this show, I'm not gonna lie. Mostly from the main character. I watched this show for the repressed gays, and the repressed gays only. Oh, but when I do like stuff, it's age appropriate stuff, not bad stuff. Important because of the setting. It's like her flirting with her teachers, but she's 36, so it's not necessarily bad. People pride. Yellow pride moment, so true. The repressed gays, they slayed. They slayed so hard they didn't need to. Alas. Also, fun fact. This is actually a crazy fun fact. If you don't know this, because why would you? Does anyone have any knowledge about late night TV in the US? You know, like shows like The Late Show or The Late Late Show and stuff like that. Any not that you watch it, but that you know generally of them. I have heard, yeah. Fun fact, one of the repressed gays is Stephen Colbert, who hosts The Late Show. Now, this is like one of his like OG acting things that he did when he was younger, and it's literally just him having the most crazy crazy gay like character where that is like super repressed and has this relationship with an art teacher, and oh my god, things go kind of hard, not gonna lie. But yeah, I just think that's kind of a fun fact. Alrighty, are you ready for great concept, bad execution? There's some crazy shows in this category, I'm not gonna lie. So, that feel when you watch a show based on plot description, and holy shit, it underdelivers. This is kind of all the stuff where I'm like, oh, yeah, there's dogs, there you go, chat. This is where I see like a plot and I'm like, oh, this sounds really fun. And then it's just like, they just absolutely fumble the bag with the cool concept that they chose. So all of these cases are going to be, I'm going to tell you the plot description, and you're like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. And then I'm like, nah, it wasn't. Slide 1, there we go. First, we have a TV show called Common Law, which only had 1 season. I gave this a 5 on 10. The basic plot is it's 2 cops who work together. Silly, yeah, the silly guys here. Okay, I don't want this one. This is too intense. Hawaiian cocktail, so true. The plot of Common Law is 2 cops, they get in trouble and then they get sent to marriage counseling to fix their partnership. Cue just a lot of gay jokes, like a lot. The thing is, the concept was fun because the whole point of like a buddy cop relationship, you have this dynamic that is kind of like a real relationship. And so many buddy cop movies and TV shows are really romance coded, I'm not gonna lie. So they had such a cool concept, but then they just made it really basic, and it's, aside from the marriage counseling sessions that they include, which are just like a lot of wink wink nudge nudge gay jokes for characters who are not gay, by the way, the rest of this is like the most generic cop show, and I'm like, ugh, you could have done something here. But it also only got 1 season, so could have been cool, but no. They didn't even have good tension. Like, hear me out. I don't know about you boys, but I'm someone who appreciates a good ship in a show. And these guys just did not have the chemistry needed to carry the premise of the entire show. So, struggles. Next on the right, we have a show called Impastor, spelled like that, which had such a funny premise to start. The premise is, it's a criminal who accidentally stumbles into a small town and gets mistaken for the new pastor. So, because he kind of doesn't have anywhere else to go, he accepts and becomes the new pastor in this little town, even though he has no idea of religion. Also, the pastor is gay! And he is not gay, so he has to pretend to be the gay pastor in this little town. Really funny premise. Because he has to bullshit his way through like religious services and stuff, but also bullshit his way through everyone being like, oh my gosh, it's so good to have a gay pastor in such a progressive town. And he's like, yep, I'm very gay, yep. But then they diverged so hard from this original premise through over the show. Like, at some point he kills someone and has to cover it up, and like, what the fuck even happens? 4 on 10. And also, come on, you could have just made him actually, like, become gay. Like, not become gay, but you know what I mean. Just very gay and very much a pastor, yes. Like, they could have had, like, there's 2 seasons of the show. This would have slayed so hard if he had come out as bisexual at some point. Like, come on, why? Also, there's kind of a lot of, he has to cover up his, he has like a, let's say, he has to cover up a lot of hookups. Yep. Which just kind of is, like, he is very much an arsehole main character, which can work, but I just feel like it doesn't work as good as it should. So basically the best part of this show is like the start, but then they fumble the bag with the plot. Only got 2 seasons. Yeah. And also he gets hunted by like, the reason why he decides to accept this, by the way, this whole arrangement, is because he has loan sharks on his tail. And then they execute the whole loan shark thing very cartoonishly, and disappointing show. Unhinged is 2 on 10 and 3 on 10, meow. Fair enough. Yeah, because look, the tagline for Common Law was, it's like a marriage. It's like marriage, only with bullets. That was the tagline. I'm like, oh, you had so much potential, but you just fumbled the bag. But while Common Law is just a boring, I love the way you say meow, yippee. Common Law is just kind of a boring show, Impastor kind of just gets bad at some points, and I'm like, bro. Too intense. Alright, are you ready for the next slide, chat? Next slide. Is it a ready moment or is it not a ready moment? Hype. Okay. This is still the good concept, bad execution. Next slide. We have a show called Me, Myself and I First, which only got 1 season. I rate this a 5 on 10. The basic plot is it's the same person, but in 3 different times in his life. One as a teenager, one as a middle-aged man, and one as an older man. Which is very cool. Cool concept. To kind of show how things change and how different decisions impact his life. But it's also really repetitive. And ends on a cliffhanger, if I remember correctly. 07. Yeah, as I say, same guy, different ages. So the idea is really cool, I thought, but it's just very, very, very repetitive. And also the main character just does bad decisions that are unrelatable. Like, you don't really get why he does it. You're like, why? So you have, like, the young teenager has this sort of... And of course, another issue is that because it's 3 different ages, they decide to go, just to let you know, I am here, silly. Hi, Bob. You get to rate my unhingedness. That I've watched all of these TV shows completely. So Me, Myself and I has also another issue that each age is basically a different genre show. So the teenage age is about, like, teenage romance. The middle-aged is about, like, divorced dad problems. And the old one is about, like, finding your new purpose in life as an older person. And, like, the idea was interesting, but they just don't... Like, it doesn't get executed in a good way. The next one is a show called The New Normal. Also only got 1 season. I rate this a 4 on 10. The concept was very cool. It's about a gay couple who hire this... Oh my gosh, what is that? Fuck off. There you go. It's about a gay couple who hire a lady as a surrogate to adopt it, like, to eventually have a child. And it's about, so the couple and then the surrogate and the surrogate's daughter and her family, and it's about this modern new type of family and its drama, right? The problem is, almost all of the characters, except the surrogate's daughter, are fucking boring and cliched and really unimaginative as characters. So, cool premise, but the characters ruin it because you're just not invested in any of them. Shout out to Andrew, what's his fucking name? Reynolds? I always forget how to say his name, but you know what I mean. I love that guy. And he's the reason I watched the show, by the way, fun fact. But, like, he just doesn't get anything in this TV show. Everyone else is just the most boring character. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, so 4 on 10. Third, we have a show called The Imperfects, which is about people having crazy superpowers. And it's very much in a similar vein as this sort of The Boys-esque trend of, hey, let's make a superhero show, but it's gritty and violent. So this show is really violent, like very gory, over the top. A lot more than it needed, in my opinion. This is a 6 on 10, so the best of the worst, I guess. And it has an ace main character, which is very rare, and I loved that. It had some really cool concepts and visuals, but I just thought it was, like, way too much just people getting genuinely ripped apart. I don't need to see that in my media, I'll be honest. So that's kind of why I was like, the idea is cool, but then they just made it like a mix of The Boys and, like, Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that. Alright, what do you think? Funnily enough, all of these shows got, like, only 1 season and then got cancelled or finished. I think The Perfect was actually finished, but New Normal and Me, Myself and I got cancelled. Unhinged is 2 on 10, 2 on 10, 3 on 10. Fair enough. We're almost to my favourite category. Shows that live in my head rent-free. Not saying all of those shows that are coming are going to be like 10 on 10, but these are shows that I really like. I'm so excited to talk about them. Because we've done a lot of, like, crapping on shows, a little bit. But that's the point of this whole presentation, is to just give you guys an insight of what kind of shows I watch / have watched completely in my life. Are you ready for the final category, boys? Also, I feel like aside from some of the more mainstream, super popular TV shows, you guys you guys have not seen a lot of the shows I've seen, it seems. Alright, next we have Lives in My Head Rent-Free. Are these shows perfect? No, but they come pretty damn close sometimes. Except for the ones that I did rate 10 on 10. And you get a cat watching TV as our final image here. Also, am I the only one who gets like crazy wrist problems? Just in life? Kitty? Yeah, because like, I don't know if you can hear that, but... Oh, didn't mean to knock my pop filter here, but... I wish this would hold, but it never does. But, yeah. You guys know I've been doing quite a bit of... Sorry for the ASMR. I've been doing quite a bit of exercise and all of that, and... recently, and my biggest issue is when I do stuff like push-ups is my wrists kill me instantly. Like, I get so much wrist pain that's disproportionate, I feel like, and it's so annoying. I can just creak my wrists a lot as well. Try to see if I can do it like that. I don't know if you could hear that, but if you could, that's what my wrists sound like, and it's so annoying. So I'm like, man, I could be good, but I'm just not good with the wrists. You can hear, yeah. So I can't do like a lot of push-ups, not because I don't have enough strength in my arms or my stomach, but because my wrists kill me. I'm like, fuck. But yeah, I've gotten kind of what's the word? Hedge a little bit. I'm kind of proud of myself, boys, because as mentioned, I didn't used to be. And now I'm kind of doing exercise every day, and I'm like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of nice. I'm going to have my little hot boy summer. No, I'm kidding, but like, it's just cool, you know? I was able to put on like an old shirt of mine that I thought was too small for me, but now it does fit me again, so I'm like, yes! Alright, let's start. On Lives in My Head Rent-Free. Slide 1. Also, you get an animated little guy. First off, we have a show called All Grown Up, which is the sequel to a show called Rugrats. It has 5 seasons. It's a very, like, silly 2000s era kids show about a group of friends / siblings and their little school troubles now that they're starting to be teenagers, so they're like 13 in this show. And it's a silly show. Is it perfect? No. Is it silly? Yes. And because I really liked Rugrats as a kid as well, I've not watched all of it, which is why it's not in this PowerPoint, but I really like Rugrats, and it's the same characters but aged up, so I really liked this show as a child, and I actually did watch all episodes when I was a bit older, because I was like, yo, I love the show. And where I lived, Rugrats was a very niche thing, basically never, like, no one watches it, because I guess it wasn't popular outside of the US, or at least it wasn't popular in my country. But All Grown Up, like, got shown on Nickelodeon, which kids watched, so there's a lot of people that I know that have never watched Rugrats, but have seen All Grown Up. And then on the other side, we have Gravity Falls, which I feel like you don't need to introduce much, because it's one of the most popular animated TV shows in the modern era. So, it's 2 seasons. I rate this 9 on 10. Watching it when it was first coming out was insane. Like, all the puzzles, all the mystery. It's such a good show. And it changed how modern animation kind of approaches storytelling, in my opinion. Like, that one and Steven Universe and Adventure Time, those 3 had, like, such a big influence on the kind of storytelling that is really popular nowadays, I think. So Gravity Falls, such a slay. I really want to rewatch it soon. One of my favorite shows. Chef's Kiss. What are your thoughts, boys? how unhinged is it? I don't think this is very unhinged. I think this is very normal. Both 1 on 10. Yeah, I think this is very normcore. Big frog. Big frog for real. Any more input, boys? Yippee! Real. Yippee is so real. Alright. Next slide then. Next up, we have a Community with 6 seasons. I'm rating this an 8 on 10. It's a comedy show that centers around a group of college kids, community college kids, and their funky, wacky drama. It's a very bold comedy show with a lot of genre-bending episodes. It's got crazy special episodes that... it has one of the best Christmas episodes, for example, ever, in my opinion. It's really funny and quirky, and some stuff has not aged amazingly because it's an older comedy show, and some of the character dynamics fall into quite stereotypical arrangements, but it's also crazy and funny and creative. And Abed, who's one of the characters, is one of my favorite characters just ever. I love him. He's such a cool character. And also, just watch it. It's a good show. It's a really good show. And I think it's still on Netflix. Really like this one. Banger. I have like the whole show on DVD too for this one. And then we have Homicide Live on the Street, which is, in my opinion, the most underrated cop show ever. Had 7 seasons. I'm rating this an 8 on 10. It is a show that's set. It's from the 90s and is around. It's set in Baltimore, and it's about a police department. There's a bunch of crimes and drama and shenanigans, you know, typical of the genre. But it has some of the craziest arcs you've ever seen for characters, where, you know how you have shows like, let's say, NCIS or Law and Order Special Victims Unit or something like it, where you have a main cast and the characters stay for years and they get their own character arcs aside from the criminal cases. Basically, the cast for this show stays completely the same for almost all 7 seasons. There's 1 or 2 changes throughout, but mostly the same. And they do some wild shit with the characters, like genuinely insane, without doing too many spoilers, but... And also, this is a show that starts in like 1990 and goes to 1999 approximately. So fully set in the 90s. And it has not 1, but 2 bisexual main characters by the end of it. One is a character that's in the show from season 1 and comes out in like season 6. And then they add another bisexual character in the main cast in like season 6. So they've got a male and a female bisexual character in the main cast, which modern cop shows can't even do. Like serious shows, not comedy. I mean, stuff like NCIS or Special Victims Unit. Like, they did it in the 90s and they slayed so hard. Like, oh my god, there's a character called Tim in this, who's the guy who comes out in season 5. And he's such a good character. He's so good. Oh my god. And also, fun fact, this is my lore drop about the show, but there's a character in the show called John Munch, and yes, who I love. He's my other favorite character in the show, and he actually is the longest running TV character ever, because after the end of Homicide Live on the Street, which got a TV movie as well, which got even more insane, but never mind. John Munch, the character, after the end of Homicide Live on the Street, becomes a character in Law and Order Special Victims Unit. And he's also a character that's had a lot of crossovers to like shows like The X-Files. So he himself makes like various shows takes place in the same universe because he appears in them. He also appears in Arrested Development, fun fact. So the fact that he is in all of those universes means that X-Files and Arrested Development take place in the same universe, which is crazy. But yeah, I love his character, and because he got 7 seasons on Homicide: Life on the Street and then 15 seasons of Law & Order Special Victims Unit until his character retires. Unhinged is 2 on 10, and 1 on 10 mainly because I've also watched that show, trying to find the rest of the season on DVD. Oh my god, you're the first person I've ever met who knows Homicide: Life on the Street. I'm so excited. Sorry. I'm so sane. I love that show so much, and no one ever knows it, and I'm like, yes! Okay, James, for Homicide: Life on the Street, there's one edition of this TV show where they made it in like a file cabinet, and I want that. It's like 80 quid, and you have to import it from France, but I want this so badly. Because it's like you pull it out and each season is designed to look like a case file, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. I'm sane. I'm a normal, sane guy about these shows. Real. Yeah, because Community, I already owned the entire show on DVD. On a DVD set, actually. Yeah, because like with Otis, like basically shows in this category, I either want to or already own these shows on DVD, because I'm a collector. But for All Grown Up, unfortunately, from the last slide, that show is really difficult to get on DVD, because they just didn't care about animation at the time. And Gravity Falls is really expensive. Same with Homicide, as I mentioned. Because the new disc cover release, not even this one, you know the one I mean, James. The one where they made it look like The Wire, the TV show The Wire, is so ugly, and I just don't want to own that edition of the series. I want this cabinet one, because it's so cool. But so expensive. Also, I hope you enjoy my doodle of the cat writing. Alright, any more unhinged ratings, chat? How unhinged is it that I've seen all of these TV shows? And again, I could go on about Homicide: Life on the Street, but it's so cool. And genuinely the most underrated, like, procedural cop show I know. Complete collection on one website is 95 euros. I know! It's so spenny. I'm like, holy shit. Holy shit, man. And yeah, I mean, it isn't helped. Oh, jeez, my voice just cracked. Fuck. It's not helped by the fact that the show's old, so some of it is obviously also released on VHS, which I don't own. And I already have the first 2 seasons to spare, no? Oh, pain. Yeah, no, I don't own any of the seasons because I'm waiting until I can justify buying that one that looks like a file cabinet. But at the moment I can't justify it for myself. But yeah. Going on, next slide. Can you see that well or no? Yeah, you can. Why am I getting tagged? Tagged. Why am I getting DMs while I'm streaming? But alright, fair enough. Don't mind me. Yippee! Oh my gosh, Topnet is backed up. Sorry. Just got pinged to the Topnet Discord. I'm like, yes! Oh my god, chat. Guess we're gonna do some Topnet maybe on Monday, boys, because I've missed it a lot. It's been down for a bit because of technical difficulties. Ah, Topnet, let's go. Ah, there's like an event as well, like on Friday. I'm so excited. Yeah, I think we're gonna do Topnet on Monday, and probably Hardcore, the new Hardcore series on like Tuesday for start of next week. But yeah, yup, excitement. Oh, I'm so excited as well. Oh, I'll tell this when it comes up. But yeah, so first off, we have South Park. Which has 26 seasons. And yes, I've seen all 26 seasons. I give it a 7 on 10. It's a very up and down show. A lot of stuff hasn't aged well from the early seasons. And sometimes the comedy hits better than other times. But like, it's a crazy show. It's funny. It's got wild characters. When they actually tell like a cool story with the characters, it's like, it slaps so hard. But yeah, I have seen the entirety of South Park. And I've also watched the movie, and I've also played one of the games completely, and I had started playing the second one, but still need to finish that. I'm a sane individual. And also, how to make myself more unhinged is the fact that when I first got back, like, properly into South Park, because I actually watched it when I was super young because, well, it was just on TV when I was a kid. But then I got properly into it a few years ago, and I watched 20 seasons of it in 2 months. So, yeah, I was very normal about this TV show. That binging got me the nickname from some of my friends of Kirby, because I was, like, devouring TV shows. Yeah, sane behavior from yours truly here. Alright, and then on the right, oh yeah, for South Park plot description, well, it's like the city of South Park. And it's about a bunch of elementary school kids, but it's an adult animation show, so crazy scenarios. I don't even know how to describe South Park, but I imagine most people would probably vaguely know what it's about. But yeah, on the right we have House MD, or House, which is like a hospital show, but funny, kind of. It has 8 seasons. I give this an 8 on 10. It's a really, like, funny, entertaining show with some of the most memorable like characters, and especially hospital cases, because the same thing with procedurals is true for hospitals and like criminal procedural shows, where most of them don't have the most innovative plots for the cases that they had. Like, the illnesses aren't the most crazy, the crimes are the most unique, so they need to make up for it with having good character dynamics. But House, for example, is one of the ones that has really memorable cases a lot of the time, as well as good characters and interesting storylines, so it kind of slays. However, season 7 is horrible. I will never watch season 7 again. It sucks. What the fuck? And also, they have a really aphobic episode in, I forgot which season, but it came out in 2012, and I can rant about that forever. It was a really shitty, irresponsible episode that should have never been made. Horrible. What the fuck? Still an 8 on 10 show, in my eyes. Like, season 6 is really good. Season 8 is really good. There's a lot of really good episodes in the first 5 seasons too. But yeah, I'm still not over it. By the way, if you are someone who has never watched House MD and you're like, I want to get into it, especially since I've seen it pop up on TikTok a lot, just don't watch season 7. And like, if you see an episode that has the word asexual in the episode description, just don't watch it. Don't watch it. I'd hit just 5 on 10 because you watched all of them, damn. And 3 on 10, I used to watch it back as a teen. Nowadays, I just freely hate House. He's an arsehole. I don't like House either. He's like a dick, but I loved Wilson in this. Wilson's my favorite character by far. So, yeah. Love that guy. Which is... yeah, this is where my enjoyment of that actor comes from this show. I love House MD. Didn't finish it, but I watched it. It was so good. Oh my god, you need to watch season 8, Miz. Season 8 slays. Season 8 is so good. Oh my god. Again, as a Wilson enjoyer, I love Wilson. He gets through the ringer in season 8, not gonna lie, but like, it's such a Wilson-centric season, and I love that for me. But alas. Yeah. House. Simp. Dude, I could just... but I literally told you, like, one of the previous sections was like, you know, was it a good show? No. Were there hot men? Yes. And like, what can I say? What can I say? I'm just a guy in that respect. And I love when people are all dressed up. Like, I just think anyone looks better in formal clothes, like shirt and tie and stuff. Is that just me? It's definitely not me. I know it's not me, but like, you know, so that's kind of maybe why I like cop and hospital shows so much, because people are like fancy dressed up all the time. I'm like, yes. But Wilson's such a good character. I love him. I should add season 8 to my list of recs I'm collecting from this 07. Oh my gosh, you're collecting recs? What are your recs? Tell me at the end. Tell me at the end of this. I'm so excited. It's just like, yeah, now I'm in the good one. I feel like okay, you're not ready for the next slide. I need some hype in the chat. Can I hype up the next slide? Because now we're getting to like my favorite shows ever, basically. It's not just you, I agree, but I hate having to wear suits all the time. No, I actually really like it. But I'm just kind of built like that. Like, I'm literally wearing a shirt and like a cardigan right now when I'm streaming. I personally really like it. I know a lot of people find it uncomfortable, but I get a lot of self-confidence from it. So, I honestly would love to have more opportunities, because there's kind of a level of formal wear that is only acceptable if you're like a businessman of a certain age, and I'm not a businessman and not of that age, so, well, there's like a level of formal wear that is just too dressed up for just casually going outside, so I don't really get to dress up fully like that. So I mean, like, wearing a Professional Yellow on his fancy suit. Yeah, no, like, for example, wearing a suit jacket. You don't do that unless you're working or going to like a black tie event. But I don't do that, so the only time I get to actually wear a suit is for Christmas. Alright, can I get some hype for the next slide? Agent Yellow. Yeah, of course. I actually wanted to be an agent when I was younger, but then I realized you needed to be really fit for that. And there's a lot of paperwork, so I was like, no. And also, you know, aware. He fell to the propaganda, oh no. As like a 12-year-old, but you know what I mean. So, it was a short-lived dream. Alright, next up. Good Omens Season 1. 10 on 10. One of my favorite TV shows of all time. I love this show. I'm so excited. Season 2 is coming out this month. Oh my god, the trailer dropped like a few days. I'm very sane. But I love this show so much. It's like... I'm very normal about it. I'm very normal. I love it so much. Like, I've watched this show multiple times. The fact that it only has 6 episodes and it's still one of my favorite shows ever, it's crazy. It's about an angel and a demon trying to stop the world from going down in the apocalypse. And it's like everything you ever wanted in the show. It's so good. It's so good. Oh my god. And guys. The reason I finally decided to not stream on Sunday, because I was kind of on the verge of like, how tired am I going to be after 2 days of 10 hours of, like, education? And I finally decided to not stream on Sunday because my friend Tobias and me are going to watch Good Omens because he's never seen it. And I'm like, yes! Sane. I'm like... Yippee! I hope you have fun with your game, James. But yeah, so I'm so excited because I love introducing friends to like my favorite shows, and someone saying yeah to like watching a TV show with me. I'm like, yes! And I really want him to get into it so we can both watch season 2 together maybe. And I'm like, yes! And also one of my best friends in real life and me love this show as well. So I'm like, yes! I'm so sane. I love Good Omens so much. And oh my god, the season 2 trailer looks so good because it's like apparently a few days later, and it's like Aziraphale and Crowley, who are the main characters, or Crowley, and the main characters, they're trying to fix a human romance, and I'm like, they chose such good clips, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm so excited because I've been waiting for 4 years for season 2 to drop finally. Slay. And then obviously on the right we have Over the Garden Wall. Also only 1 season. A 9 on 10. Genuinely unsettling. A-star atmosphere. This show is absolutely a must-watch, I think, in autumn time. Like, when it hits autumn, when it hits, like, the Halloween time, watch this show. It has a little bit of filler in terms of some of the episodes, which is why it's not a 10 on 10. But it's like basically a 9.5. And it's just 1 on 10 because it looks so cute. It's such a well-animated show. It's like a story about 2 brothers who get lost in the woods, but the woods are kind of magical, creepy woods. And oh my god, there's a talking bird, there's like pumpkin people, shit goes kind of wild. But it's such a good show, and the music is wonderful, and the aesthetics are like old-timey animation. If you've never watched Over the Garden Wall, watch it this autumn. It's so good. And it's only 1 season of 10 episodes. So very manageable. But yeah, I love these shows so much. Yup. Also, there's a pet frog. Need I say more? Frog enjoyers. any more unhingedness comments. I think this is like pretty normal because these are quite normal shows, I think, but I'm very normal right now, but it's okay. Alright, next slide, chat. Boom. We bring in Scrubs. Just 9 seasons. It's an 8 on 10. This is one of my comfort shows from my childhood. I've watched the show completely through multiple times. I love the show. It's the comedy hospital show. We're gonna pretend season 9 doesn't exist. It's horrible. It sucks. I only own season 1 through 8 on DVD in a set. Genuinely, just pretend it was never made. But it is a funny show. It's creative. It's aged decently as well, considering how old it is. It has such cool friendships and relationship dynamics. It's got good like medical content and good like relationship content. It slays. It's definitely much more about the characters though, rather than it's like crazy medical cases. But oh my god, I've recently rewatched quite a bit of season 1, and it is just pure comfort to me because I love like all the characters and I know them inside out. It's like and it's a show that you can technically like, it has a story, but you could technically watch any episode of, or most episodes of Scrubs without having seen anything else. So it's also now, I believe, on Disney Plus. I think it's on Disney Plus actually. So yeah, if you've never watched Scrubs, I'd say watch it, man. So it's about the main guy is JD, who at the start of the series just is a brand new doctor. He's like just starting out, and it's about him and his colleagues, and he's very much a daydreamer and very in his head, and it's about him and his best friend and like, you know, the girl he likes and all this drama. But it's such a like cozy show in a weird way. It just holds a really like big part of like my childhood. This is one of the first shows I think that I watched completely when I was like 10 or so, because at the time they uploaded all the episodes on YouTube, so I watched it all on YouTube. And man, it's also one of the few shows I only watch, because this is like a funny little side note. I don't know, any bilingual speakers in the chat. Almost all of these TV shows I've watched in English, except some of my childhood shows, which I only watch in German. Like Scrubs is a show I watch in German dub exclusively, mostly because I don't like the voice they I like the voice that they chose for JD in German a lot more than Zach Braff's natural voice, and B, it's just the show sounds like that to me because that's how I first watched it when I was young. So most shows, like anything that I watch nowadays that's new, I always watch in English if it's an English original. But there's some shows or movies from my childhood that I only watch in the German dub, even if it was originally an English medium. It just doesn't feel right. Similar enough though, I don't like to watch anything nowadays in German that I know in English because it sounds wrong to me that way too. So it's just habit, I know, but Scrubs I only watch in German. Fun fact. Now, The Good Place. The Good Place is the only other show I've rated 10 on 10 in this entire PowerPoint presentation. The Good Place is a crazy-ass show about the afterlife. It's about philosophy, it's about ethics, and it slays. This show slays so hard. It has the most insane season 1 finale plot twist I've ever seen done. I will not spoil this because if you, for some reason, have been fortunate enough to never see anything about The Good Place at that finale, watch it with no bias, because I was fortunate enough to do that and it blew me away. It slays hard, it's funny, it's quirky, it's the best way I've ever seen philosophy and ethics portrayed in media. And there's lots of hot people, there's angels, there's demons, there's like fucking robots. There's kind of time travel. It's a wild ass show and it's brilliant. It's beautiful. And it cut off at just the right point too. Like, it tells the story it wants to tell and nothing more. Slay. So yeah, if you've never watched The Good Place, please watch it. It's so good. I also love how the only 2 shows I've given 10 on 10 are shows that have the word good in the title. Alright. How Unhinged. These 2 shows, what do you think? Ba 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 ba. Da 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 da. Yep. 1 out of 10 for both, to be honest. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Are you ready for the final slide? We've almost reached the end. After, I don't even know how long we've been going. Like 2.5 hours. Fair enough. Ready for the final one? Yes, yes. We have Supernatural. And yes, I've watched the entirety of Supernatural. Aware, the finale. Do I need some more? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. There's a 7 on 10 for me. Because it's very... There's a lot of shit that's like, why? A lot of good stuff, though. It's basically a ghost hunting show. Well, not a ghost hunting show, but like a supernatural creature hunting show. It's best said. There's angels, there's demons, there's a lot of apocalypses, there's drama, characters get killed off. I loved Castiel in this show, by the way. He was my favorite character. He didn't deserve the finale he got, but that's fine. I'm fully over it. I'm not, but okay. As a car enjoyer, as a mystery show enjoyer, as a procedural show enjoyer, the show had a lot of good shit to offer. Had a lot of really cool mythology, some really creative ideas, but also it had like some shit where I'm like, why are you just redeeming this character that doesn't deserve redemption? Or like, why are you killing this character off? Or the finale, need I say fucking more? But yeah, it is what it is. I think I have like 10 seasons of it on DVD as well. But yeah, I watched all of that. And some of them I've even rewatched more than once. Yeah. And then we have Recess, another like cartoon show. I didn't realize it had 10 seasons when I was looking it back up. But yeah, I've watched all of this show. It was such a based show. It's like this group of friends and all the shenanigans that happens in the recess of their school like life. It is silly, it is crazy. It had this whole society that occurred in the playground, and it was really, really cool and creative. 8 on 10. It was a really good show. Obviously some bits might not age well at this point because it's kind of old, but one of my favorite ones was like the special where they age up into 5th graders. And they make it really fucking dramatic. And also there's like an alien invasion at some point, you know, don't worry about it. But yeah, kind of a based show. If you've never watched Recess, I recommend it. As a kid, I wanted to be like TJ, who's the main kid with the red cap. He's the guy who was like, I want to be like that guy. But realistically, I was probably more like, out of this group of people, I was probably more like Mikey. Unhingedness 1 out of 10 and 2 out of 10. Really? 1 out of 10 for having seen the entirety of Supernatural. Some of it more than once. Are you sure, James? I thought this would be one of the more unhinged ones from you boys as ratings. I think we've not gone up. I don't think we've gone above 5 ever in this entire presentation. Nah, I know how the fans of that show are. Fair enough, yeah. That's true. It has a lot of good shit though, not gonna lie. I stand by that. I stand by that opinion. Like, in general, I think you can tell from what shows I like and which shows I watch that I'm not one of those people who has no media literacy. So, what are you playing with? Oh, sorry, I'm playing Fidget Cube. Because I'm just excited. I need to not slam my desk so much. So I'm just kind of fidgeting with it. Didn't realize you could hear. Sorry, boys. Hope it wasn't too distracting. I should put that to the side. Pee-pee. Yee. Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob. Teehee. So true. So true. Alas, where was I? Oh yeah, like I'm someone who very much can enjoy a show and still be really critical of a lot of the aspects of it, or like say, oh, this and this part was really shit, but this and this part I thought was really good, and still watch the whole show. And if on rewatches, I just watch the parts I liked, obviously. But for the first time, I can like watch a show and not. I don't need a show to be perfect or morally pure to like it or to watch it. So there's quite a lot of shows where I'm like, oh yeah, this part was actually really shit or really problematic, or that part could have been done a lot better, but still be like, yeah, I like the show and I will watch that show. So I think that's kind of clear with the media that I enjoy. But yeah, if there's chatters, if you took notes on like media recommendations, let me know if you had anything that sparked your interest from this presentation, because we've reached the end. Thank you so much, and I hope you had fun. Here's the credits for the presentation template. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the streams. This was a lot of work to set up. It was amazing, yippee. Thank you, Kings. And I don't know if you enjoyed the format of it. I hope you did. I tried to make it both not have 800 slides and also look kind of funky. And yeah, if there's any media that, like any TV shows that you took away as a recommendation from the stream, let me know, because I'm curious. I don't know how much our tastes align, but if there's anything that sparked your interest, let me know. And yeah, as I mentioned, little talk about for the next week. Oh, I also forgot. No, I didn't. I told you. So I'm not going to be streaming for the next 3 days in a row, which is kind of crazy. Very silly presentation. Love the cat pics, King. Thank you, King. I'm glad you enjoyed the cat pics. But for the next 3 days, I'm not going to be streaming because tomorrow I've got a seminar I'm attending for like 10 hours straight. Same for Saturday, and obviously Saturday's MCC day, so I'm going to be watching that. And on Sunday, I'm taking a day off to kind of recover, and also in the evening, I'm watching Good Omens with my friend Tobias. I'm so excited. It's going to be like our first like time hanging out properly without like texting, because we're kind of like text friends normally, but I'm excited to spend time with him and have like an actual hangout, so that's super exciting. And of course I get to rewatch Good Omens. For me, it's kind of in preparation for season 2 dropping on the 28th, but also for him it's going to be his first time, so I'm so excited to hopefully get him to love that show, because I need someone to talk to about it aside from my IRL friends. But yeah, Monday, we are going to do Tubnet, because Tubnet's back up. I just got pinged in the Discord about it. And there's an event, a Tubnet event tomorrow. So I feel like it's going to be big hype. And I mean, I'm like over level 40 on Tubnet, and I haven't played it a good bit because it's been down, but now it's back up. So Tubnet Monday. Not quite a Tubnet Tuesday because I'm too impatient, but Tubnet Monday. Then on Tuesday, we're going to do Hardcore Series, hopefully finding a desert. And then I'm thinking for the rest, because I'm going to have another seminar next Friday, so I can't stream Friday again. So for Wednesday and Thursday, I'm thinking probably like indie games / non-Minecraft. So City Skylines, maybe some Tell Me Why, maybe some other games. I haven't decided yet. So that's going to be the week, kind of starting the week with Minecraft and ending the week with other stuff. Hope that's chill with everyone. And thank you so much for like watching the presentation. This was a lot of effort, of course, but yeah. It was a lot of effort, so I'm not going to do these streams too frequently. Even without the troubleshooting, this was approximately 5 hours of prep work, because I needed, of course, to get all the drawings done, import all the pictures, structure the whole thing. It is a lot of setup, meaning I don't want to do these streams more than once every few weeks maximum, just because they are so much effort. But I also had a lot of fun, and I loved you guys' participation. And yeah, if there's anything that you took away in terms of new shows you want to check out or things like that, let me know, because I'm curious. And yeah, thank you so much for all of the attention. I hope you guys had fun. Not the poll, what is that looking? The overlay. Where even is the overlay, actually? Where is the overlay? Like, I'm not kidding. Where's the overlay gone? Strange. Overlay just decided to die. Like, it's not here. It's meant to be there, but okay. I'll fix it later. But yeah, chatters of mine. I hope you are well and you're gonna enjoy yourself a good weekend. It's gonna be weird to not see you for like 3 days. But let me raid you over. Who's doing stuff? Lumen is live. I'm sending you to Lumen, who's doing some art. Looks like maybe drawing Persona or fan art. I haven't seen. I can't see in this preview, but I'm raiding you over to Lumen, and I hope you have a based weekend. And I will see you on Monday for Topnet time. Go on the raid, join over to our friend. And yeah, I want to do stuff with Lumen soon again. Just need to like get through the stuff that at the moment that's taking a lot of my attention, so I can focus back on doing collaborative stuff with friends and everything, because that always takes more